gentlemen, to the one, the only podcast by and for the How Long to Beat community. It is the How Long to Beat podcast. We're not creatively named, but we're creatively playing games. I am one of your three hosts, Frozen Roy, and joined with me today is Leah.
Hello.
And as usual, Matt.
A good day.
Diallo is still finishing up his move and getting settled in, so he is out for this podcast, but we're really hoping to have him back soon. It's been lonely without him in these toiling minds. As usual, we are going to begin with our beaten, retired, and playing segment, and later we have a discussion topic that I actually brought up for once, and I am interested to get into. A discussion of information and how sharing it and proliferation of it has affected the gaming landscape. Now then, who wants to begin with the playing games? With the being games, rather? It's me, because I have been nothing, so my segment is already over. You two have the floor.
Incredible.
Reverse
Okay, I start. Because I have finally put a thing to rest that I have wrestled with for multiple months. I have previously complained about Need for Speed Pro Street, and the complaining has finally ended because I've beaten this shit, finally. I want to make it clear again that I have been stuck on this game for triple the time than the usual playthrough is, according to How Long to Beat. The website claims 10 hours for the main story completion. I have spent over 30 on this. And as I previously mentioned, apparently it was at least partially because I was playing on hard mode the whole time without realizing it. But we're finally out. Like last time when I talked about this game, I was in the final stretch. I only had a couple more events to beat the plot antagonist in his own like competition or whatever and be done with it all.
I do remember that.
It took me, after the frustrations that those brought to me in a previous session, it took me a while to actually get the guts to boot it up again. But I eventually did, and thankfully there were only 2 races left that I was able to do without too much difficulty, frustration, and that actually properly didn't open up another like secret additional challenges or whatever. No, it actually finished. It actually ended. I got the credit roll and it was done. And I'm
Finally, he is
thankful.
free.
Yeah, finally I'm free. I want to reiterate that I do still think Need for Speed Pro Street is actually a really cool game, and I think from the Need for Speed games that I have played so far, it is probably like close to the top. It just was an unfortunate storm of circumstances that made my playthrough in certain regards more frustrating than it needed to be. And I definitely spent too much time in it so that it overstayed its welcome after a while. But the game itself genuinely provides a really cool campaign structure with lots of variety and different things that works well with good car handling, that actually feels impactful and scary at certain speeds. And I do recommend this. Just maybe not on the hardest difficulty.
Maybe don't immediately start with the hardest difficulty.
Yeah.
You got the stunning advice today.
Yeah, definitely recommend lowering that at the beginning. You can always change it, thankfully. But yeah, that is that. I'm glad to have that done, and I'm also glad to probably soon start finally a fresh racing game. I haven't done that yet, but that's something that I have excitement for right now. Before that, though, another game that I have beaten is Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, also one that has been on my playing tab for longer than I expected. Although this one more because real life got busy. I think the last session I played Ninja Gaiden Ragebound has been a month ago, and then after that I put many overtime hours into work, and so video games were a bit left aside in general. But this week I have finally booted it up again and finished it cleanly. And I'm still very happy with this return of the Ninja Gaiden franchise to the 2D realm. In a previous episode, I was annoyingly talking about how they nerfed the infamous birds from the NES games. And I was saying that I was hoping that they would give the birds in this game at some point like a special treatment because they are kind of almost meme-worthy enemies in the original games. And this new game seemed like it had the vibe that it would like acknowledge something like that. Turns out though, spoiler alert, the birds don't really get anything.
Not the birds.
They don't even show up after the first couple levels, unfortunately. I'm a bit bummed about that, but that's
That is
clearly
unfortunate.
very much a me thing. Yeah, I don't think anybody else cares about that.
I don't know. When the gaming outlets start talking about the Ninja Gaiden birds, we'll find out.
Surely. As far as it goes for what the game actually provides, it is genuinely still up to the end, like a very enjoyable hack and slash platformer. Even for me, like I said before, somebody who doesn't care much for the hack and slash aspect, the platforming was engaging enough that it still made up for a good package overall. I really enjoyed the optional platforming challenges the game provides in several spots, and the boss fights obviously aren't as horrible as the NES games, which are infamously brutal, at least like the final boss fights. This is actually something that I found funny. There were many boss fights here that, because of my lack of skill, were kind of frustrating to me. Funnily enough, the final couple boss fights were actually fine for some reason. Like I didn't really have much trouble with them. And even more surprising, the real final boss fight doesn't hold a candle to what the original NES games put into your way at the very end. The real final boss fight, I guess, spoiler alert, maybe in a mechanical sense only, not plot sense. The real final boss fight of this new Ninja Gaiden game doesn't even have more than one stage, which is shocking to me.
That does seem surprising.
Yeah, the NES games had lengthy, insane multi-stage boss fights at the end. I really must believe there is like a true ending or something that you can unlock somehow that would give you like a proper multi-stage boss fight or something. I have to believe there's something like that.
That feels like something a game would do.
Yeah,
Like that,
because if not, if truly the final boss fight is just a relatively regular one life bar, one stage boss fight, that is very surprising to me for a Ninja Gaiden game, even if it's one that came out in 2025.
Yeah.
Again, as the boss fight hater, I'm not complaining personally. I'm okay with a short boss fight. My enjoyment came from the platforming, and it provided well and good in that sense. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go back to clean up more optional stuff. I think I had my fill for now, but I am hoping this is doing well enough that there will be a sequel. I want Ninja Gaiden in a 2D space to be more than just a one-time revival. I want this to be around again. That would be really, really cool.
I definitely think that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we had like 2D Gaiden.
Yeah, it's been like 30 years since the last one, which is crazy. But it seems like there's like a ninja revival anyway. The new Shinobi that's coming out looks awesome as well. Like it seems like
Yes, I saw that one. That does look sick.
it seems like we are back in the space where this kind of stuff could have more of a chance to live on for a while, which is cool. But yeah, that's my 2 beaten games. That's my accomplishments since last time. How about you, Leah?
What a mix of games I have here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I finally finished GTA San Andreas on my nostalgic run of the 3D GTA verse. I didn't remember the ending so much as I thought I did, and apparently I was like conflating 2 different missions together. So like halfway through the final mission, I definitely thought I still had more to go. And I was like, I don't remember this happening right now. This clearly comes later, and then the second half of the mission starts, and I was like, no, this I remember like word for word everything that happens. So yeah, but it's a weird kind of. I don't know if it has something to do with the definitive editions themselves, because I know that obviously copyright issues or whatever, they changed a lot of the some of the songs are missing from the radio. So like there was like two songs that I was like, once you hit the country, those are on the radio all the damn time. I can't wait to hear them. And there was only one of them this time. And I was like, where's the other song that like brought me through high school? What's going on? So it was a little weird to be like, oh, the soundtrack to like my favorite game has now changed a little slightly. But also I was missing like certain missions. Like even like sometimes I was like, oh, where's, you know, this certain thing that I need for this mission, or oh, where's the closest thing? And I would like look it up, and like the captions, like you can tell like the screenshots that they would have in the article I would look up, I can see him wearing something from a mission. And I was like, your character found this. Where is that mission for my character? I want to wear what he's wearing from that mission. And that mission never showed up for me. So I'm like, I don't know why it's different. And it was very weird because I was like, that was like a pivotal mission for me. I remember that mission enough to know the costume you get from it. This is a whole thing that they parody in Saints Row. And I was like, what's going on? Where is that mission for me? So I don't know. And like I looked it up, and some people were like, "Yeah, this mission is missing for me. This mission is missing for me." And I'm like, "Okay, I got those missions, but I'm not getting the other missions from that I remember." So I was like, "That's a little. I don't know what they did with this definitive edition. That's not entirely definitive whatsoever." Because there weren't songs on the radio that I was used to, I got to learn new ones from the radio. So like this entire week, I've been listening to like Rod Stewart just because that's the one song that was constant. Like the Young Turks song was constantly on my radio during this mission that I failed like 5 times, and I was like, "Here, we're gonna start this song again, I guess." So that's the one thing about GTA that can get annoying sometimes, where like you fail a mission and that's like clearly hard coded for you to listen to this song during that mission. You get into the car and it's still that song, so eventually you're just like, either I mute it or I have to change the channel myself change the radio station myself, just to be like, all right, let's get this out of here. So, and even like just like around the house, like after I finished Alan Wake, the Remedy games all have amazing soundtracks. I like every time I finish one, I'm like, now we're just gonna listen to the soundtrack for like 3 weeks straight. So I was doing that for Alan Wake, and then like 2 days later, I started San Andreas. I was like, now we're just gonna listen to San Andreas radio rock for another 2 weeks straight. So like I'm still on that. Like the last 2 weeks, it's just been like country and like reggae music in my house, which is like the most random thing, but it's like those are the 2 best stations, so that's what we're gonna listen to. So yeah, I still think that it's one of the better games that there are in the GTA series. Like I've started creeping back into a lot of the Reddits to see like people's thoughts when it comes to 6 coming out, and a lot of people, I think the majority of people don't like 5, but because 5 is connected to online that everybody loves, they have like sort of a preference for it because it's connected to this online version of the game that they play. But I really do think that 4 is probably the best of the games. But I still did, as soon as the credits started rolling, I still felt like that, like, oh, I don't want to leave San Andreas again. Like, let's go back and like do this again. So even just like, the credits, they show you like all the locations and like, oh, remember this store that you went to, this mountain that you were on, this hideout you were at. And it's like, oh, this is like, it has the same vibe of like finishing a Mario game, where Mario is just like, remember this stage, remember this world, remember like, here's the ship that you were on, that you were stuck forever. And it's like, oh my God, so it's just like sitting through the credits and like reliving like your past 40 hours in this game. So that was nice. And I'm super excited for 6. I don't know, my dad and I have been like discussing like whether he's going to be invested in it, because like he's been playing Red Dead. I've been playing Red Dead. He's never really played the GTA games very much. So he was like, I don't know, like seeing what they did with Red Dead 2, like 6 might be a banger of a game. So like, I know I'm going to probably really enjoy it, but I was like, I'm a little worried after 5. And like some of the people who wrote the games have left the studio also. So that makes me a little worried also. So I'm like, I don't know where we're going to stand when it comes to this one being a actual good game, or it's just like, oh my God, it's just new, so it's great. So, but we've been like discussing, like, do we buy it immediately? Do we wait until see like, how broken it is when it comes out? Do we wait a while? Like, we'll see.
Feels like even if you don't get it immediately, it would be cool for you and your dad to kick the tires on it anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens when it comes around to May. I know I've gotten to the point where I just like watched the trailer. Like I put the trailer up on our projector in the room, and I was just like watching every single piece of it to be like, okay, what can I spot? What can I,
Yeah,
and then go on the
analyzing.
Reddit and see who analyzed this already and who did what. And I was just like, I need to know everything. Tell me every little piece that people have found out so far. So
I haven't done that since Pokemon Gen 4.
yeah, it's weird. It's the only two franchises that I really do that with is, well, GTA I haven't been around because the last time I was up to date on GTA was when GTA 4 came out. And I think we probably bought that like day one. And then it seems wild because there was only one after that, but like 5 really took like a global tour
Yeah.
for a while there. So, but yeah, so that Zelda and Remedy games now. Like you really have to like sit there and analyze every little thing that they give you because it's like there's things that you won't even realize like right in front of your face. So
I know I was doing a bit of analysis kind of stuff. Look at the new Fire Emblem trailer that just came out like yesterday.
yeah.
Oh.
You just end up scanning everything, just being like, what is that in the corner? What does that say?
Is that a freaking gun?
Is that the fire emblem? No, that's the water emblem.
Yo, when's Water Emblem spinoff coming? SMA.
Yeah.
So that's the first game I have, and the second game I have was this little indie itch browser game that I found. I was looking through. It's called "He Fucked the Girl Out of Me." I found it through one of those articles that were talking about like the ongoing payment processor community fight versus like itch and Valve and all that stuff.
Oh,
that
yeah.
They're taking a lot of games off. So they were talking to the creator of this game and they linked it. So I was like, well, if there's a link here, I can find it. So I'm going to like open all the ones that I can find and play them.
Makes sense.
So yesterday I was downloading some stuff at the end of the day, and I was like, well, this is a short game. Let's get through this one right now. So basically this one it's like a small GBA sort of looking game. I guess it's just like a visual novel. It's about a trans sex worker and just going over like her issues, getting in and out of sugaring and all that stuff. Really heavy topics, but like I feel like for a game that was it starts off showing you like all the triggers that it's possibly going to do during different endings. And I feel like it didn't get into much. Like it was just like you get up to a scene and they're like, by the way, this happened in that scene. So we're not like, it's too much for me to deal with. So we're not going to talk about it. And I'm like, but this game is supposed to be about like details and you're not giving me any details. So like, I can understand what's happening, but if you explain it to me, to make it into a scene, I will understand more than you just being like, so this happened. So anyway, we're going to skip to the next,
But yeah, but is that like the character talking to you and them not wanting to go into the trauma? Because I could see a point to that.
Yeah. And they do say in the beginning of it that there was a point where they tried to talk to somebody they knew. And they kind of went into too much detail and he got a little excited about it. And they were like, I didn't like that, so I don't want that to happen when it comes to this game. So I guess for that reason, they were like, oh, we're going to gloss over some more things. But I'm like, if you're going to make a full game, like, I'm not going to, like, obviously it was therapeutic and they, got through it the way that they did. So I don't want to be like, this is a terrible game for what it's supposed to be. But like, as a gaming experience, I kind of was just like, I feel like I didn't get enough detail to be like, oh, this was clearly like a moving experience or whatever. It just kind of felt like welcome to being human. We're around shitty people. Like,
okay,
that's just it's basically how I was just like, yeah, I like, there's certain things where you're like, okay, this is part of being alive where like you're around shitty people. I kind of relate to some parts of it myself. And it's like, okay, well, that's just because some people are shitty and some people aren't shitty and some people take advantage of others. And I was like, okay, that's, But it's weird because that game has nothing like outside of like what it's about. There's nothing drawn. There's nothing like graphic or like nudity or sexuality in it besides like what it's about. So for that game that's 40 minutes long to be like, delisted from itch was kind of like very odd for me. So
I mean,
like yeah.
considering why the payment processor stuff is happening and the behind the scenes stuff, I'm not surprised. Kind of the political
Yeah.
element there.
Yeah. So, but it was just interesting. We're like, I was like, oh, let me play some of these games and see, what the depth of it is. And really, I was just like, you're just pulling straws at this point. Like, this game being out there isn't,
Corrupting the youth.
like I just played GTA,
Right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I just played GTA and now I'm playing this game and I'm just like, oh, you're gonna tell me me being like thoroughly excited for GTA 6 is, worse than this little tiny game about a ghost.
Mhm.
Like
Well,
I mean that me being excited is not worse, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's just shooting and violence. That's fine.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
now, if there was even a stray boob, that's an issue.
Right.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and like obviously like San Andreas had their whole like hot coffee mod back in the day controversy.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah.
Because that was the
So,
most
but-
controversial part about the game, obviously.
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
That I will say, going back to San Andreas, I forgot. I know that in 4 you can go on dates and stuff, but I forgot that it started in San Andreas. And it's funny because I know that there's certain, much like Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
Great.
Much like Harvest Moon.
Comparison: Grand Theft Auto, much like Harvest Moon.
Makes sense though. I get it. Yeah.
Much like Harvest Moon, there's different perks to dating different people. And I remember learning about the different perks of the different girlfriends and being like, I need to find this girl when we get to San Fierro and we're gonna like date her and she's gonna be like the only girl. And apparently that mission to like meet the girlfriends never happened for me. So like I remember I saw it later on and I was like, oh yeah, the girlfriends. I clearly remember there was an Asian girl and there was a black girl and I was like, where are they? And not for me this time.
Oops.
So oops.
That is so weird.
Sorry, CJ.
Is it like is it actually like a technical thing that it doesn't show up, or is this just like missing a trigger somewhere? Do you have any idea about that?
A trigger, because like you only have like the one person to go to for certain missions, and once you've exhausted all the missions, that person disappears from the map. So I'm like, I can't go to anybody else. Like I was looking at the map being like, can I go to this thing? And I'm like, no, that's the store. Okay, let's go to this thing. That's just this. So I was like, where's the person that triggers this mission?
Yeah.
And I went through like all the missions. They were like, oh yeah, it's in between these two. And I'm like, I got that mission and I got the next one, but I didn't get the one in the middle somehow. So I don't know. There was like at least 4 that I found that I was like, yeah, I didn't get this one. So I don't know what happened.
That's weird. Yeah. So I guess there's still reason to be cautious about the definitive editions.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I can see that was an issue out of all because I played all 3 of them already in the trilogy, and that was the only thing that I was like, this is not how I remember it being. So a lot of the controls, I will say, for all 3 of them, a lot of the controls have been updated. They did a lot of like checkpoint saves. So like before, like if you died in the middle of a mission, you have to go back. They would leave you off in the hospital without your weapons and everything. They take everything from you, and then you gotta like drive to the mission, to go get like weapons or whatever, and then drive to whatever they're telling you to do. And it was like, so now when you died, they're like, do you want to restart the checkpoint? And then like you just start off wherever you were in the middle of the mission. So I was like, perfect. This is great quality of life advancement.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only time there was certain missions that I was playing that it would have saved me and locked me into a spot, and I was like, I can't finish this mission with what I own. I have to go leave this mission and go buy some other stuff and then come back to this mission. So I would have to like be like, no, actually, let's not confirm. Let's get out of this mission, go do some things, get stuff, and come back later. And then, then I would be able to finish it. So I was like, okay. But yeah. And also like the way of choosing your weapons, they have like the little wheel now. Before it used to just be like press R1 and L1 and you can just cycle through them forever. So it's like now it's just like the little wheel. I'm like, that's perfect. This is great. The aiming is a lot better. So I wouldn't say that the graphics are that fantastic for what they were, but I did go back and look at the the trailers for the originals, and I was like, no, I guess the graphics were a bit of a difference because like their faces animate and stuff. But for some reason, there's a cameo in this one that was very important to me as somebody who's played the other GTA games. And they didn't update that person's character or whatever. So his character is still very polygonal versus everyone else that's all smooth or whatever.
That's
and
awesome.
that was hilarious to me. That I was like, wow, they
Yeah.
really were just like, no, fuck you. You get to stay in the past. Specifically, this one cameo.
Yeah, I mean, I do
That was-
remember the visuals being one of the most divisive things about the definitive editions when they came out. For one,
Yeah.
because a lot of AI was used to adjust the textures, and then, of course, a lot of graphic features didn't load right and whatever, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also tried to like take out the bloom and like the fog of the city because like they were trying to hide that the city was loading behind the fog or whatever.
Yeah.
But I did notice there was a few parachute missions where like I would be parachuting down and you can see like the level being like, oh, texture goes on this, texture goes on that, texture goes on that. I was like, wow, okay. But
That's an old school game experience.
yeah. I appreciate it. I was like, you know what? This is gaming.
This is gaming, yeah.
This is gaming. Loading screen.
Yeah. Yeah, like so you can turn off the now I guess there's an option where you can turn off the bloom or whatever. So I just left the bloom on because I was like, I'm used to it looking very foggy anyway. But yeah, they also had that issue. People were complaining about that with the new Saints Row that had just come out. They were like, oh, there's like certain things where like you go to open the door and the animation doesn't start right away. And I'm like, no, but that's what makes gaming. I love when things aren't completely smooth. Like you open the door and the character just slides this way and gets into the car. I was like, that's beautiful. I love that. Like
It does
Fuck
lead
yeah.
to very funny animations sometimes.
I want things to be not completely perfect. Yeah.
I agree. Man, actually, now that I think about it, I bet you could do like a fun horror game just by making like a normal photorealistic kind of game, but make everything very slightly off. Just like Uncanny
Yeah.
Valley, the game.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are some projects that played with that, but I couldn't name one right now.
Well,
There's gotta be
there's
some.
that one. There was one that I played. I think it was an itch game that I played a while ago. That was supposed to be like about testing a game, and it was like you're supposed to like glitch your way through the game so you can beat the game. But I was like, then I would like hit stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if this is meant to be a bug or if this is an actual bug
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah, I
So,
remember you talking about that, yeah.
Yeah,
I was
bug
like, man,
testing's rough in that scenario.
yeah. I was like, I don't know where this goes in this game.
Loved it. All right.
Yeah, so that's what I've beaten so
Alright.
far lately.
Well, in that case, I think it's time to head on to the retired and paused section. I will once again lead us off because I once again have retired and paused nothing, so my segment is over.
Damn.
Whichever one of you can now continue.
Yeah, let me throw my thing in real quick, which isn't gonna be a big one. I have officially retired or paused or whatever the mobile game Align It that I have previously mentioned only quickly, I believe, because this was another mobile game that let me play the board game Mills, aka Nine Men's Morris, that I have been talking about plenty of times. This was just another way to play against AI or like randos online. But I believe my Mills phase is finally coming to a
Oh, no.
close.
Not possible.
I still I still love
Not
this
beaten,
board
but
game.
retired after all this time.
Yeah.
He's milled through it.
Oh my god. I think it's just time for me to take a break, but there's certainly gonna be Mills games again in the future, somewhere down the line. Yeah, but for now, that is my one retirement.
I guess for Matt, it's gone from Align It to Malign It.
Oh boy.
Anyway.
And now we're back to me.
Yeah, we're back to you.
Yeah. So after the last episode, I had like my little Remedy phase of play all the games that Remedy possibly has released. So I went through Death Rally Classic and remastered Death Rally, and I have learned that I cannot do top-down racing.
Yeah, those are tricky for sure. Yeah.
So I they were only like a few dollars or whatever. So I was just like, I'll try them. I don't think that they're for me, but we're going to find out. And they are not for me. I've always really sucked at them, but I was like, oh, maybe it'll be different because these are Remedy, but it's not.
Yeah.
So. I gave it a few shots. The classic one was really cute to see, like all the old graphics, because again, like I've between Max Payne and then doing San Andreas, I was just kind of like, oh, everything is retro now. So like opening the Death Valley Classic, I was like, wow, this is crunchy graphics. This is old. This is great.
This is the truth.
Yeah, but I was like horribly losing in all the races that I was doing. So I was like, all right, I don't think I'm gonna get anywhere in this one. So I booted up the remasters, tried that one. That one I kind of enjoyed more, but I was still kind of like, I can't do anything here because my brain doesn't work top down. So I retired those two. And then my other game that I retired, it's not really retired because it was really just the demo that I played. But I have decided to not pursue this as a franchise that I'm going to go down. Hitman 3 World of Assassin. Because I had some free demo of some mission or whatever. And I've never tried the Hitman series before, but I was like, oh, let's see if maybe that'll be something that I'm good at being creative with, sneaking around. I'm not good at stealth, but we'll see. But this one is a little bit more rigid in how you're supposed to do certain missions, where it was just like, no, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I was like, well, if you tell me to, assassinate somebody, like I should just be able to just do he's probably got a repertoire of skills or whatever. He came with like the little wire and everything. So I was like, oh, there's like, I'm sure I can do this in multiple ways, but it was like, no, you have to assassinate them in this one way. And I was like, that's less fun for me. Like I was expecting it to be a little bit more creative than, this is your target, you figure it out, but it was just like, no, you have to go over here. Now you have to do this. Now you have to do that. And I'm like, okay, this is more rigid than I was expecting.
Yeah, that does sound less like what I would have expected from Hitman. My brain could not remember the game name for some reason.
Yeah, so I don't know if maybe that was just the one mission that they just had a demo for. And I guess as a demo, as a tutorial for somebody who doesn't have the full game, that's probably a way to do it. And probably like later missions are probably just like, yeah, you figure it out. We know you know what you're doing.
That does seem like it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so it might be, but I was like, as a first mission, I was like, I am not enjoying this. And then I couldn't make it it was like, find the exit. And I was like, it says exit right there. I can see that there's like clearly an overlay being like, this is the end of the room. And then it wouldn't let me pass through it. So I was like, you know what? I'm trying to do what you're telling me and you're not letting me. So then I tried to go around and then I got shot. So I was like, all right, well, uninstall this immediately.
Maybe it was like one of those Looney Tunes exits. It was just drawn on a wall. They got ya.
Wile E. Coyote laughs as we speak.
See, now that's the game I want to play.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's what. Now I want that game. I want that to be like a Roger Rabbit game, where it's like you're assassinating different people as cartoons, and you have like an anvil, and like paint a door so they can run into it.
Bugs Bunny, Toon World of Assassination.
That would be dope. Yeah,
very like cartoony noir
with a cameo from Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
you could get a basketball style assassination.
Dude, hell yeah. I hope all the capable game developers listening to this podcast are getting on this.
Yeah, just get the Looney Tunes license, easy.
Yeah, easy.
Well, that's the end of that section.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case,
we are speeding through this.
Yeah, we are. It's almost like we don't have many games to talk about.
That's crazy.
Now we're gonna go on to the playing segment. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's the game we're playing, and this time
Yes, go on. Sorry.
This time I'm actually gonna start off because I actually have something to talk about. Crazy, I know.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
And the first one I think we can all talk about because it's Wordle, my continuing streak of 833 now.
Yeah, my streak is at 1.
Streak of 1. But I was not the only one to complete it today. I did get in 3. What'd you two get?
What's the maximum? 5? I got on the last.
6 is the max.
I have never heard of the word today.
And I have, but I had 4 yellow letters after 3. So I was like, this isn't helping anything. I'm not going to get this. And then I went for something completely random just to use up the other letter space. And then I got like 3 of them green. And I was like, okay, we can do something with it. All right, done.
Nice. Well, I guess in that case, it means that the one with the nadir of knowledge was Matt. So after that,
nice.
I was just playing Arknights on mobile, Tabletop Simulator, the same HeroScape stuff. Probably the biggest thing I spent time with. In fact, I spent about 20 hours, I believe, with it open. Although probably closer to like 15 playing. It's Madden NFL 10, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, you gotta tell me about this.
Football season is in full swing. You want to know something crazy, Matt? Because I'm going to tell you this, and you're going to be like, what the fuck? I've not actually played a single game in Madden yet. I've just been going through Create a Team.
How long have you said this game has been on for you?
I can double check my PS2 time. I'm pretty sure it's around 15 to 20 hours.
15 to 20 hours, and all you have done is create teams.
That's right.
No,
And
to be honest, that is something that I remember as a kid, I really wanted a soccer game, but not to play soccer, just to make funny teams with funny names. That's all I wanted to do.
That is something the PS2 and GameCube Maddens let you do very freely. I just teched 23 hours, although I believe there are a few hours of that it was idle while I went to do something and forgot to close it. So it's probably closer to 20 or less. But the reason for that is I'm doing something I like to do where I just make a full custom league of 32 custom teams, and every team has thematic players in some way. Like they all come from the same college conference, or their names are alliterative or all have double letters in them and stuff like that.
Shit.
So I've got like a whole list of stuff, and try not to duplicate players too much because then the league's weird. So I've also got like a list of players I've used. So I'm just kind of flipping through doing that. I've got about 20 of the creative teams done. So I'm been around 30 to 35 hours in. I might actually play a game of football.
It's fucking crazy.
But this is my favorite thing about video games. This is my favorite thing. Like, you don't actually ever have to play the video game to have fun with it. Like,
my favorite thing about playing video games is not playing video games.
But there's like so much creativity when it comes to the game. Like I was saying before in a previous episode, like when I was younger, I used to like make up stories and just be like, we're going to drive around and we're going to, use the racing game to drive around. And then we're going to, fight our friends. So put in a fighting game and like play that. And it would be like my own little like open world storyline across different games or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, that's what you do when the story doesn't exist or whatever. And you just want to there was NBA Jam or something that I have for GameCube, and I only used to like make characters. Like I never wanted to actually play. I would make them play as a team and watch them play, but I didn't actually play it. Like
I love hearing that this is something not only me has done or wants to do. How the fuck have all 3 of us done this?
Well, it's almost
awesome.
like it's almost like, hear me out. The people who go on a video game podcast on a website about chronicling how long you beat games are really nerdy and into creative aspects. Just a hint.
But we are truly special snowflakes.
I gotta add in, like, with Madden, when I do this create team stuff, I do the same thing. I think up some, like, team backstories. I kind of think up some silly stuff like that. I've honestly long thought it would be, since EA Sports right now has the NFL license, you can't make a simulation NFL game without them. I've always thought it would be a cool idea if someone had the money to actually make a solid football game, to just like make a fantasy quote unquote league. 32 teams who have like their own history. You have your own made up players and stuff. You don't need a license for it because you can use the rules of football. They don't have a license on that. You know what I mean?
Not yet. Can you really not do at all like custom players or whatever in modern branded football games?
See, okay, you're about to get me going here because, man, I can tell you so much about Madden. So, kinda.
Oh my god.
You can make custom teams, but it's really lame and shitty. So in the old Madden games, basically they have about, I'm going to say about 60, 70 logos that are like custom logos. And then you have NFL logos, historic logos, and alphabet. And you choose one of those, and you can name the team what you want. You can have them from any city you want. You can have them in Canada. You can have them in Mexico. I forget if you can have them in any other foreign country, stuff like that. Then you can custom make the stadium. You can custom make the uniforms. You can custom make the roster, all that. In the new Madden games, there's like 8 preset custom teams. I think you can still put the roster. I don't even remember if you can. But all the names and logos and all that stuff, it's all pre-made for you. And you can't change it. It's fucking stupid.
That is stupid.
And it's just, I could go on so much about how modern Madden sucks for like the kind of stuff we're talking about. But if you ever wonder why I'm playing Madden NFL 10, this is one of the reasons why.
Yeah,
that's thoroughly explained. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been having fun with that. I did have to change the renderer on the thing I was playing it on to actually make it work because it was funny. It was glitching on. They're like, during the games, they didn't have any torsos. It was just the uniform and arms and stuff. I don't know what was going on. Yeah,
Ghost football.
Madden Ghost 10.
When you build it, they will come. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Somebody will get it.
Field of Dreams. But
that's football, right?
No, that's baseball.
Yeah, I know. It's all the same. I'm not a jock.
As they say, if you don't play video games, they will come.
Oh God.
But yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about Madden. Having a lot of fun with that action. Also, I gotta say, this is like one of the last Maddens to not have a lame soundtrack. So that's nice to go back to a Madden game. Like nowadays, they do like these instrumental songs that are just kind of pre-made for like NFL itself and stuff. In the old ones, what I like is they'll mix together kind of classic music and then some modern, like I wouldn't say indie music. That's a bit too niche, but like I don't know, like they had like in Madden 2005, they had like 30 Seconds to Mars when 30 Seconds to Mars first happened. They had like Hoobastank when they first came out. You know, they kind of they would get like modern acts when they were just coming out, and they like contribute one of their songs, kind of thing.
Real music.
So, real music like Hoobastank. But now it's just like instrumental random stuff. But this one has some good tunes, and I've actually been adding multiple songs from this game's soundtrack to my just personal playlist. So, anyway, finally leaving Madden behind for now. The other thing I was playing, very briefly, was Toho 6 Embodiment of Scarlet Devil, which is the first Windows Toho game. I don't have too much to say because I really only played this once or twice to make sure it was working on my computer after getting it. But I've kind of been wanting to get into one of those games, see if I can finish one of them. Back in the day, I never really used continues. I want to see if maybe I can beat a game with continues and then work from there. But I don't even know if I can do that anytime soon because it can be difficult. But I would just enjoy beating some of these, so I got all of them.
Of course.
And we'll see which ones I end up going through over the many weeks, months, years of this podcast, because I'm sure and fuck not gonna go fast.
Yeah, maybe you will draw me into that as well, since I've said I've got some on my backlog as well that I want to get into. So maybe this is the drive that will put me there as well.
Yeah, maybe we can compete to see who's gonna beat one first.
Not gonna be me.
Well,
could be. You never know. Maybe you're a savant.
Oh no.
But yeah, that's about it I've got here. And hey, this week I did bring 5 games.
Oh shit, there's no use for the whip this time. I got so used to it. Damn.
Actually, funny enough, Matt, you barely hit 5 games yourself. Almost had to do some self-flagellation.
True, yeah. Well, I know how to walk the edge. I'm not gonna elaborate on that.
Oh shit, he's edging.
I was waiting for shit like that. Yeah, I don't know. Leah, do you want to continue your playing games? That's a good sentence.
Yeah, I can. Mostly will be quick also.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions, the best game that's not a game. They just came out with a new DLC where you can. They had one earlier that was like basically it's like a little productivity tool, and your little avatar is set in a room. So they came out with now you can do stuff in the kitchen. So like you can cook stuff or sit at the table and do things or whatever. The newest DLC puts you on a train, so you can customize like the trains you're liking or whatever. Which I didn't realize how. I knew that they can do a lot of customization because obviously the bedroom was like tip to toe everything. But I expected the train to have less customization, but like I can actually make it look like a subway train, so I was very excited about.
Ooh.
So and they also came with some new spirits. So the spirits are like the little mascots or whatever that come with you on the train or in your room or whatever and hang out with you. But they only had 2 birds until the last DLC, and now there's a parrot and a pigeon. So I was very excited about that.
Oh hell yeah!
And
Now you got Matt's attention.
Yeah.
He's got to start Googling now.
Yeah. So I was very excited about that. So, you have to unlock all the spirits. So I guess that's the game component here. So, I got both of the DLCs and I just sat there with my monitor on one of them with all the white noise going, unlocked them very slowly over time. So I finished that. So I finished both of the DLCs. It took me like a day and a half of just constantly listening to white noise. Now I have.
Holy shit! That sounds like my days of binge listening to Merzbow albums, man.
But the thing is that I had it on one monitor, but then I was playing a game on the other monitor, so it wasn't like I was staring at it for like 5 hours waiting for them to pop up. Like, I was doing other things. I was being productive with my productivity tool. So,
yeah, you were getting ready for the podcast. This does fit right into your favorite thing, being video games where you don't have to play video games.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Love that.
Yeah. So I did. So finished all those. And then I also finished the DLC for Power Wash Simulator. I had just previously bought the Wallace and Gromit one. I had only done 2 levels. So yesterday I was in my friend's chat and just went through all the different, like I feel like they were less thorough levels, which I know I was complaining before about having to clean the entire, like in the Shrek one, you have to clear like the entirety of like the entrance to whatever his name is from the first movie. Duloc.
No
like
idea.
the entrance or whatever, which is like all the carriages and everything, half the castle walls. And I was like, you want me to clean all of this? This is so much. So in Wallace and Gromit, you have to clean the inside of their house, but then one of them was just like clean their vehicles, and I was like, well, I could also do the rest of the house while I'm here, like. But I guess there were also some in Shrek where like you just had to do like their carriage or whatever, or just like the outside of the house, and you didn't have to go in. So I was like, all right, I feel like they cheapened out on the Wallace and Gromit, but maybe not. Maybe it was about the same amount of dirt as the other ones.
That's a feature, the amount of dirt. That's
yeah.
I like
It was
that.
also they do tell you like the different kinds. I guess in the career mode, they have different washers for like this is a glass cleaner, this is a wood cleaner, this is what I only have like the standard ones because I'm not doing the career mode, so I have to just power wash with the one thing, everything. But they do tell you like if you pan over an item, they'll be like, oh, this amount of grime, this amount of dirt, this amount of strawberry jam or cheese if it's Wallace and Gromit. So yeah, I finished that DLC.
I got
a
question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Are you excited for Power Wash Simulator 2?
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh,
like,
nice.
I'm not interested in the actual game, but in that one, apparently you get to have like your own little house, which I believe these are the same people that do House Flipper, and I love House Flipper. House Flipper and Electricity Simulator was just like, just let me tinker in a house and do things, and it'll be amazing. Great game. So I want House Flipper 2, But so Power Wash is like, oh yeah, you're gonna have like your own little space to like decorate. And I was like, oh, is this gonna be just like House Flipper? Like you're gonna give me like my own little space to decorate?
Yo,
But then
hear me
I
out.
don't know if that has to do with the career mode. If it has to, is it connected to career mode? Then I'm not gonna play the career mode. So,
True.
God
but
damn.
if it's just like some DLC on the side, or not DLC, but bonus.
Hear me out though. They should make a game that combines Power Wash Simulator and House Flipper. So first you have to clean the house. Then you put the stuff in the house and you flip the house.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
Power Wash
Yeah,
Flipper.
like even if they wanted to do that with like one of the car sim games, like the car mechanic simulator, where like you have to like take out the broken parts and put it back in, and it's like, let me flip the car. I'll flip the car too. That I would play.
Is there a Pimp Your Ride game that you could play?
I think there was for PS2.
There was
probably.
one, and you could ghost ride the whip as a minigame. I remember that shit.
A lot of whipping today.
Is that something the kids still talk about these days?
Oh damn! Pimp My Ride has 1.5 on backlog. I gotta add this to my wish list.
Oh, totally, bro. I expect you to talk about it next time.
Maybe.
So yeah, then the next thing on my list is Max Payne, which feels like forever to get to because I had this technically on PS2, but I just never got around to it. So I was really excited to play this one. But it was so funny because I know that it's an older game, but I know Remedy tends to be very meta and, you know, fourth wall breaking sometimes. So I was like, I didn't know what to expect with this game. So I started up the game, thought it was fine. Nobody was really talking. It was just like the captions. And I was like, okay, whatever. It's fine. Then the game starts and all the sounds were just like distorted and like industrial sounding. And I was like, I don't know that Max Payne is supposed to sound like this. I don't know what's going on. But then like, it was like, oh, press escape to go to the menu, and escape would just minimize the game. And then it was like, oh, press jump to do this, and jump would minimize the game. And I was like, okay. So I would like open it back up. Then I couldn't shoot with the mouse buttons. So I was like, what's happening? And then somebody started to speak, and their whole thing was like all jumbled. And I was like, that's not what the sound is coming out of their mouth. It's not just like computer garble. So after the tutorial ended, I couldn't actually play the game. So I had to uninstall, reinstall, and the same shit was happening. And I was like, this cannot be happening to me. I want to play this game after like 1,000 years to do this. So I verified all the files, crashed, did it again, and then it started working, opened the game again, and now I can finally play this game. So I was having like a panic for like 4 hours one day because I was just like, no, not all after all this time. I thought I was finally going to play this game, and now it's like crazy broken. But it's working now.
I guess getting it to work was the Max Payne all along.
It's true, but it's good. Once I think I'm only like 3 levels in, but the way that they try to make it so gritty New York is great because the subways are so dark for no reason. Like New York has electricity. We can do this as a city.
Oh, really?
Like,
shocking.
I don't know why the subway stations are so dark. There were like 3 different times where like there would be like some scripted thing happening in the room next, and then like I opened the door, and I was like, I heard them talking. I know I was supposed to draw me over here, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do, and I had to walk around the room, find the weapon that fell on the floor that I was supposed to pick up. That should have been lit by the light that was right there, but it wasn't actually shining to the gun. So it was like, oh my god. And like so many times I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm walk around this room and sideways like I'm a freaking Roomba.
Oh my god.
3 different times it was like click click. I'm like, oh, there was something on the floor that I couldn't see because it was too dark. I have the brightness completely up on my monitor and in the game settings, and it's still freaking dark as hell.
Have you checked like footage on YouTube or whatever to see if your game is running the way it is supposed to be? Maybe the lighting.
No, it is
just
because
fucked.
I've watched a few videos and I was like, why is this like?
Huh.
Because I worried about that too. Because I was like, wait, now is the lighting not working in my game? But yeah, that.
But no, it's lighting. It's just dark as fuck.
Yeah. So.
Damn.
But it's hilarious to me because I'm like, me as somebody who has been in the New York subway, I know how brightly lit it is. So I was like, excuse me, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, this is why Alan Wake has a flashlight, because they think that New York is like so dark as hell. Like,
yeah.
Max needs to find
good.
Alan Wake, so he can play his own game because there's no way to
They would
get
be
out of here.
unstoppable.
Yeah, those Energizer batteries, man.
Just
But-
keeps going and going.
Fuck.
But yeah, so now it's running and I'm enjoying what I've played so far. So it's a very short game, but there's also 3 games, so we'll see how long that
Mhm.
takes me to get through. But it's definitely giving me more nostalgia for New York in general, but also New York at the time, because like, excuse me, a lot of the signage and like the way the cop cars look have changed over time. And I'm like, wow, yes, they did look like this. Like, I feel like somebody, looking at like the 1980s being like, remember those days? Like,
Oh no, we're getting old.
yeah, I've
Hell
had
yeah.
this many times where I'm like, oh, they used to look like that. And I'm like, who am I? How old am I? What's going on?
Ancient.
I do
Yeah.
always hear Max Payne 2 is considered to be a pretty good game, so hopefully
Mm,
when you get to that, you enjoy it. I've always heard high
Yeah.
things about it.
I've only watched
Yeah.
the movie. That one's alright.
yeah. So we'll see. I did read Sam Lake talk about like his favorite parts in all the games. And he did
Mm.
mention like some meta things that are gonna happen in all of them. So I was like, oh good, that started this early. This is gonna be great. Can't wait to get there. So
Huh.
we'll see how that goes. My next game is Marvel Rivals, which I just recently got some new RAM in my computer, and Marvel Rivals was one of the 2 games that I could not play without having like graphics all the way low and like making it like super tiny as a screen to play.
Huh.
And it would just like crash on me all the time after like 2 matches or whatever. So like immediately when I put in the new RAM, I was like, let's go, let's try this game in like full blast of graphics and everything. It's gonna work. And it did. I played a few quick matches, but there's been like so many new heroes that have been added. So I feel like I have to relearn the game because the last time I played was like last December or something. So it's fun, and they just added Angela, who's one of my favorite Marvel characters. So very excited to.
Ooh.
She technically she's from Spawn, but
Okay.
they got the rights to the character after a while. So now she's just in Marvel. So they had to like retcon her origin into Marvel history. I think she's technically supposed to be like Thor's half sister or something.
Oh, that sort of vibe. Okay.
Yeah. So now the new season is her versus Daredevil, which is weird because Daredevil is a Catholic. He's not like the leader of hell or whatever. And it's like Angela's the angel, he's the
Okay.
devil. And I'm like, but he's not though. He would be in her position technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were like, oh, the devil of Hell's Kitchen. And I'm like, yeah, but have you met Matt? Like Matt Murdock is not like this.
The Devil of Hell's Kitchen just sounds like a Gordon Ramsay edition.
Yeah.
Like if Gordon Ramsay was a Gundam character or some shit.
Yeah.
Gundam Ramsay. Horrible.
The other game that I was able to test my computer skills on was Red Dead Online, which recently, I gotta say, like maybe 3 or 4 months ago, got new missions, which it's been like dead for forever. And it was a joke in the community where they were just like, oh yeah, Rockstar's gonna throw us a bone and like, forget about GTA Online for now. They're gonna like come back to Red Dead. And it's like, yeah. Every like April's Fools, it was always just like, guess what? We got new missions, haha, whatever. They actually put out some new missions recently, so I've been so busy that I didn't get around. So now it's like, now is the time. I've got the time. I've got the RAM. I can open this game and it won't die on me.
I've got the power.
Yeah. So I played 2 missions, then died, and then I was like, all right, well, at least the game runs. So So I'll come back to that. But that's also funny to be back in Red Dead after playing San Andreas, because again, this is a game that has benefited from what the older GTAs started with. So it was like, oh, the controls still are the same as across all of their games. So it was just so funny that I was just like, oh yeah, like I just have to think Grand Theft Auto and I can run around in Red Dead. Even though I haven't played them in so long. I just recently played GTA. And my last one is Nier, which apparently nobody knows how to pronounce this game.
What do you mean? Doesn't
It's
seem that
nearly
tricky.
impossible.
Apparently in the game it's called Automata, but people say that it's Automata.
I've literally never heard
So,
anyone not call it Automata. So
Yeah, I don't think
so like I was watching some videos and everybody kept changing the way they pronounce it, and I was like, is nobody? This feels like back to being like Ghost of Tsushima again.
I wonder if it's like a country thing, like a dialect.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I was random accents were happening also. That could be that. But yeah, so I opened it because I haven't played this since maybe the beginning of the summer or whatever it was, like game of the month, like the month after is when I retired it.
Nier Automata.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I just opened it just to see where the hell I was, because I was like, I know I was playing, but I don't remember what my last quest was. But so I went in to see, like, is this still something that I'm interested in? And, you know, running around and figuring out where the hell I was, what I have in my inventory, who I'm with. So I don't really fully know when I will get to this, because again, I'm trying to work on Max Payne, and then maybe I'll come back to this, or maybe I'll go back to Red Dead 1, which I've had here to play. But I also I'm going to attempt to 100% Red Dead 1.
Oh boy.
So I don't know if I'm actually going to do that, because the first time I played it, I only played the main mission. So then I was like, oh, I again, with Rockstar Games, I was like, oh, I don't want to be done with this game yet. And I was like, had I not rushed through this game, I would have had more to do. Now I'm like, no, maybe I'll go back with this remaster and like do it very slowly or whatever and get most of the stuff done. So, but yeah, I still don't, Nier is still, I'm still early enough in Nier where I'm not sure what the idea is. It's just like, just go do this thing. But I'm like, I don't know why we're like, I don't know what the big bad is potentially yet. So I was like, I don't have any motivation to do what they're asking me yet. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm in it for the long haul, but we'll see. Because it is one of those games that I'm like, the characters seem pretty cool, and I just don't know anything about the story. So I'm like, all right, we'll see how long this takes me to get through, if I get through it or whatever.
I gotta also say, Nier, those games are like those types of games that everybody seems to be talking about, but I've also never heard what the fuck it's actually about.
Yeah.
I wonder if even the people that love the game know.
Yeah.
Existentialism.
But yeah, it's the animations are cool and the world seems really cool. Like again, it's one of those things where it's like there's robots around, but like nature is taking over, so it's kind of like really lush environments, even though you're in an urban environment.
Yeah, I love
so
that.
It's kind of cool. Yeah. So I don't know if that's that one section only, because there was an industrial section before that was just completely like dead factory stuff. So I don't know if the entire world is gonna look as lush. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, those are my playing games currently. On to you.
Okie-dokie. Yes, on to me. Well,
What was that?
nothing. That's gonna be cut out.
No. We're keeping that in, baby.
Baby. One time I don't gotta have to put the whiplash out. The whip. And you calling me baby? This is a weird development.
The How On to Beat podcast. People are wondering what that means now.
Oh God.
I'm just gonna start rating the episode by whips. 5 whips this episode.
Jesus.
It's gonna become like Johnny Test, just constant whip crack sound effects.
Oh my God. Anyway, what I've been playing, obligatory quick mention of Wordle, I guess, even though we have already talked about it. But yeah, I did. I only played Wordle. My excuse, I only played Wordle because we had a bit of leisure time before we recorded this episode. That's the only reason why I did it. And also, like I said, it took me 5 tries because I had never heard of the word before. But I hope that's never gonna happen again. That's my Wordle.
And if you're wondering what the delay was, peanut butter sandwich, no notes.
Yeah.
Times 2.
Something I've actually played willfully recently. I mentioned in a previous episode, as we talked about seasonal gaming, I was mentioning that there's this game called Wakeboarding Unleashed that I was originally planning to play during the summer this year, but it kind of got delayed. So now, since the last episode, I actually have booted that up. Finally, for the first time, here we are at the very, very end of summer. It's kind of almost gone, really. I thought I would give it a shot regardless, see if it sticks. And Wakeboarding Unleashed, gameplay wise, this genuinely feels like an in between of the Pro Surfer game I played last year. What the hell was that called?
It was the Pro Surfer game.
I mean, it was the Pro Surfer game because there was never like a sequel or whatever. But Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer. After Tony Hawk had the skater game, they did all the other board sports, and there was Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer to get that done. Wakeboarding Unleashed feels like marrying that Pro Surfer game and the Pro Snowboarder game into one thing, because you are on a sort of surfboard as you get carried along by a motorboat through different environments and do your tricks on all sorts of things and on the waves and whatever. The difference is, while in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games, you have the like total freedom of exploration with the environment. Here, as in the snowboarder game, you are being strung along a tube basically and have to do your stuff on your way down the hill or like along the creek, that sort of thing. I actually really like this stuff, and I like aquatic environments. So Wakeboarding Unleashed is like a perfect marrying of things for me. And it is made by the same developer as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, which is arguably one of the best Tony Hawk's games in the entire series. So the hype is real. I understand why people have recommended this to me plenty of times in the past, and I am really enjoying this. So far, I had one PlayStation so far, and I really do want to play the full thing. The environmental variety seems to be pretty cool as well, because the first 3 levels are one like a regular like tropical beach and ocean environment, whatever. But then you go into the bayou along the swamps with even like spooky gothic graveyards to the side that you can like kind of get on and whatever. It's really cool. And the 3rd level is like a post-apocalyptic flooded New York City or whatever, where you grind along all the rubble of the buildings and shit. It's super, super cool. It plays pretty dang well from what I can tell so far. The problem is I'm emulating the PlayStation 2 version. This game came out on Xbox and PlayStation 2 at the time. And it seems like neither console ports, neither console versions emulate perfectly, even with like up-to-date emulation. The Xbox version, from what I've read, is like near unplayable. The PlayStation 2 version seems to be playable, but there's one glaring graphics glitch where the entire wake of the boat that is stringing you along through the levels, the entire wave that the boat is making is not visible at all, and it is a crucial object to do tricks off of.
Yeah, that does seem difficult.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that crucial part of the game is not showing up through emulation. For some reason, that graphical feature is just not being emulated right. So you could absolutely play through the full game, it seems, with an invisible wave under your board. I'm not entirely sure if I want to do that. I might just actually wait for emulation to, I don't know, catch up or whatever until this is properly emulatable.
Yeah.
Or maybe, God willing, there's gotta be a remake or whatever, there's no shot at that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you own a PS2 or Xbox?
No, unfortunately not.
Sad.
But I actually would put this one on the list of reasons why I should maybe at some point go to a flea market and see if I can find a PS2.
Yeah, because apparently, like, you can get the game for like $5 on eBay. So if you had a PS2, it's casual to grab. It's not like some expensive old game.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I wouldn't like. Maybe someday I will actually get a PS2 to play this and a couple other games that are annoying to emulate.
You can get PS2s pretty cheap nowadays, after all.
Yeah, I hope. I don't know. The prices seem to be very much varying at what you're looking at.
Or you can get original Xbox.
I don't want to do that. I have no interest in that thing. But yeah, so it's still like kind of like my active playing tab for now, but I'm thinking about whether I should actually do it right now, or maybe this is just another sign that it shouldn't be this year, since I've already not been following my original plan to play it during the height of summer. Cool game, but I guess I was not there at the right time. I wish I was there when it actually came out to play it on my actual PS2 or whatever.
I do have a
Maybe I
question.
just have to live with
about it.
this.
I saw somebody describe it as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater combined with Pokemon Snap. How accurate is that?
Huh?
How?
I'm gonna assume the only reason why somebody would say Pokemon Snap is because you are not freely moving, but you're like strung
On
along
rails.
by a vehicle through the level.
Alright.
I have to assume that's the only reason they got that.
Sorry, I was hoping there was a hidden camera mechanic or something.
I don't think so. No, not that I know
You're
of.
secretly a Pokemon.
You're
Sure.
secretly a Pokemon. Your boat is driven by Pikachu.
Like Squirtle wakeboarding. I'd play
Yeah.
that.
Sure.
They have that weird ass Ditto spinoff.
Right, I heard
They
about
have
that.
they
yeah.
have all the Mario sports. They need to do Pokemon sports.
You
Give
call it
me- give me
Pokesports.
Do they
Surfing
though?
with Squirtle.
I mean,
I don't
it seems
know,
like it'd be pretty
man.
easy to do. You could probably go crazy with it.
I don't know. I think there's enough Pokemon.
I mean, there is enough Pokemon. There's more than enough Pokemon. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But what if there
We
was
don't need more spin-offs. Oh my god. We could put this energy into Digimon or Monster Ranger. How
Oh,
about
I
that?
wish that energy was in Digimon, but alas.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, that's that shit. My last remaining game that I've been playing right now, still on that Magic the Gathering grind. I'm still playing Arena, the official current, or one of the official current ways to play it digitally. Still enjoying it a lot. I'm just I'm just grateful that there's a way for me to just play Magic the Gathering without having to have real life friends that care about this, which I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm even more grateful that I can do through this the like tournament formats that cost money in real life without paying money here, like the drafting tournaments where you in real life you and every contender, you buy a bunch of fresh booster packs, open them on the spot, and basically build decks on the spot with those cards. So there's obviously in real life there's the cost attached to that. In the game, you just need to gather a bunch of points through regular game to get like a ticket to participate, and that is so much nicer. And you still get
Yeah.
to keep the digital cards for like whatever deck you wanna build with them afterwards in other formats. It's nice. I think this is honestly something I was missing like 10 years ago when my friends all stopped caring about Magic or whatever.
I mean,
It's good
I
to have it now.
definitely remember like when Hearthstone came out. I was like, man, why does Magic only have
Yeah.
shitty online services?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I felt that as well. And Hearthstone is good as well. I actually enjoyed that a lot back in the day.
Well, partially I'm saying that because if it had an online service, I probably would have gone and played it, especially at the time. But like all I had was Magic Online, which was old and isn't
Yeah, that's rough.
ideal. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. I'm also, now that I've like gotten back into Magic for the first time in 10 years, like I've said plenty of times already, I'm kind of, it's cool because I'm now on it with a completely different point of view. Back in the day, I just wanted to play casual games with whatever cards I can find to build some weird, wonky bullshit decks and then play with my friends on the living room table or whatever. I was never interested in the official formats where only a set amount of cards are actually legal. I thought that was stupid or whatever. Now I kind of understand why that is a thing, because it actually helps balancing the competition. It removes overpowered matters from certain formats. It's just a much more leveled playing field within these different formats, some of them more than others. And because, of course, these official formats are used in something like this arena game, I'm learning them more and understanding them more, and I'm appreciating them much more. You
Radical.
can play, you can play formats that allow every card ever, or at least every card that was ever put into arena. But then you're gonna have to deal with people that have the most optimized, overpowered meta decks
Yeah.
that you have no chance of competing with.
Vintage and Legacy are wild.
Exactly. And so I'm completely switching now my point of view on Magic the Gathering. I'm now starting to really love the more limited formats because they actually make sense and I have a shot at winning there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just exciting to play this game that I loved already beforehand, but now with a completely different appreciation.
Yeah, it's always cool with stuff like that, where like you come back to it after a period of time and you have a new perspective and you're like, oh shit, this part's actually cool. And sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, this part actually sucks. But hopefully you get a cool part to go with it and you're like,
Yeah.
yo, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing to have happen, I think.
Yeah. It also extends this entire Magic the Gathering revival and deep dive that I've had recently, it even extends to real life now because I have yesterday attended my first real life Friday Night Magic event at a local comic book store. That was a whole thing as well. The format was modern, which is basically allowing all cards after the 90s and a couple select cards banned, but huge pool. And it is a format where people bring their own decks that they constructed at home to compete in a tournament at the store. So I thought it would be fun to just go there. I expected there would be people with, the overpowered tried like pro decks would probably show up there. I was sure about that, but I was hoping maybe there's some other freaks like me who have no idea what they're doing, and I can get some fair matches with my thrown together deck out of the old cards I had still lying around. But I went there. It was a 3-round tournament, and because we were an uneven number of players, I had the luck or bad luck, the unfortunate situation of not having an opponent in the first round, so I just got an automatic win and just had to sit out 45 minutes.
Yo, let's go! You advanced past round 1 on your first tournament.
It sucked though, because then my first experience was watching these other players doing like round 2 wins and shit with their overpowered decks of Japanese cards. And it's like, it didn't take 5 minutes for me to realize I'm completely out of my league here. I should not be. Yeah.
You're like, oh,
it was fucking brutal.
Take your win and leave.
Yeah, I should have.
You got a job. You beat by.
Well, the first real match that I had then against a guy, I immediately told them I haven't played Paper Magic in 10 years and whatever. I'm already realizing I'm not gonna win a single match here. So please enjoy your easy win. And of course the dude did. I don't think I made a single point of damage to him. So there's that. And it was a best of 3 match. I lost both 2 games and it was over. But the guy was really nice. He actually made an effort to explain all of the cards and actually took time to explain his stupid ass pro level deck thing with the complicated strategy to me, just because I seemed interested, I guess. And he also said he basically asked why the fuck I'm here because modern is not a format that beginners usually go to, and I was like, yeah, I see that now. I also asked him how often he sees new people there, and he said he's been there every Friday for years, and it's like incredibly rare that any new people show up. It seems to be just the same 10 people every time or whatever, and they all just know each other.
There you go. You could integrate
So-
into a new friend group.
Yeah, not like that. There's just no, unless I wanna, buy a pre-constructed deck that is like from some pro player put online or whatever. I will not even have a shot at competing.
If they have stuff that's not modern, for example, like standard or a draft format, is some choice you can do.
No, I said to him as well that I will probably stick to the what are they? Is that the limited formats? Is that what they're called? Yeah, the drafts and whatever where everybody builds a deck on the spot out of the same card pool, pretty much. That's what I'm gonna be sticking to. The unfortunate thing is those rarely have like set regular dates that you can just plan for. It seems to be very spontaneous.
One thing I'll bet is that they're usually, I know one thing that happens when a new set releases, the stores have like a draft and all that, so you can set those again. Idea with that at least.
Yeah, because guess what? I did sign up next Friday for a pre-release, not draft, but a pre-release limited format tournament for the stupid ass Spider-Man set that's coming up.
Yo, it's it's the mediocre Spider-Man live on our podcast.
Yeah. I'm just hoping to. So you get six booster packs. You get a bunch of booster packs, and you just build your deck from that. And really, I'm just hoping to pull the City Pigeon card that's in that set. That's really all I want, and then leave.
I thought that's why you were going to the last tournament to get that card.
No, yesterday didn't have the Spider-Man set yet. That's not out. Yesterday was just people bring their decks from home out of whatever cards. Pigeon card was not there yet.
How you're gonna go to that pre-con and there's gonna be all these guys who are like these competitive guys looking for the best cards in Spider-Man, and you're gonna pull your pigeon. You're gonna be like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah, I'm gonna wear my pigeon T-shirt as well. I'm gonna fucking do it all.
Pigeon walk. I imagine city pigeons at least like a common or something.
Yeah, it's a common. Oh, for sure.
So you got good odds.
Let's check this out.
I got good odds. Yeah. And I also got a better chance at actually doing something at tournament since everybody is, on the same playing field. Thank fuck. So I'm looking forward to that. But yesterday was a nightmare.
Yesterday sounds like was rough. Also, one thing I'll say, City Pigeon's probably not even a bad card.
Oh, I actually like it. It's a flying creature that creates food tokens when it leaves the battlefield. You can definitely do something with that.
Yeah, and that kind of both repeatable effect and also food tokens have been good in the past.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
Pigeon meta.
So back to yesterday. I still had another match to go through. The second guy I was actually gonna play. And lo and behold, it was the same guy that I saw earlier beat his opponent on round 2. So I immediately said I'm scared of him, and again, he's gonna have an easy win. But that dude was also extremely nice, extremely, making an effort to explain his strategy and whatever. Like, in that sense, I can't complain. These were nice people I was able to chit-chat with. But yeah, no, gameplay-wise, I was not doing shit. At least with this match against him, I was able to put, I think, 2 points of damage towards his life points. And that was my big achievement that day. I didn't get anything else done. But at the end, there's still like rewards for everybody because these things end with the store owner pulling a bunch of promo cards that are being shared with the participants, and the dude with the most wins gets to choose first, and then you go down the line. So even though I didn't really win an actual match, I was able to pick a card from that at the end, and I got a pretty neat one that, ironically, like, I could see it being useful in the deck I have, but there's no format that I could use that deck in and still have a chance, as I have learned yesterday.
I mean, you never know. You grow, you evolve. You grow, you evolve. You can do better. Everyone starts
Yeah,
somewhere.
okay, but there's two problems. Okay, yes, I could solve the problem of lack of skill. I could buy a deck that is strong enough to be actually competitive there and actually learn how to use it. But these kinds of decks, these high-level strategy decks, just aren't what I'm interested in Magic. So even if I would
Part of
play
what
it,
I'm saying is that even for like a modern format, you don't necessarily need to run a high-powered deck to win some games and kind of do good at like a Friday Night Magic. Like the deck you showed me, for example, you showed me like that black-blue deck.
yeah,
You could
yeah,
you could probably make a mill-based deck around like that Una fairy card, add in some counter
right.
spells and stuff. And if you have solid skill that you develop, you'll probably be able to take some games and do something because
Yeah,
it's at least it's at least an okay deck. If you just kind of refine something like that, and that wouldn't be even plain meta because Black Blue Mill is not meta to my knowledge. But you could definitely grab some more cards from that and probably put together something that's playable at this, even if you're not going to be kicking ass.
possibly. I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if
The,
you want to, but
the
that's just my suggestion. You don't have to grab some meta pre-constructed deck to make something that's off meta but still good.
right. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I'm gonna grow the balls to try that again, to dare that again. The other thing is also there's a small group that wants to establish a pauper format tournament at the place, which is
Oh,
a
that could work.
format that only allows common cards, so the common weakling cards or whatever you want to call it. No rares,
Right.
no legendary bullshit. Which is fun, and the format for some reason also allows the 90s cards, which are funky and weird, and I love them for that. So I did say that I was interested in participating there, and I did scrounge up a weird pauper deck using a lot of old weird cards that I would never ever be able to use otherwise. But because that also is a format where people bring their decks from home, at this point I'm just expecting to get the same experience as yesterday.
I
People
mean,
just having the weirdest combos.
it'll probably take a bit for you to get going because you don't even have you're kind of just
Yeah.
throwing stuff together. You're not even really building
Yeah.
a deck kind of sense.
Yeah. I've not been building a deck and then buying the cards. I've just been throwing what I already have, yeah.
Right.
Which is not what people do.
Yeah. So even if you just refine like a pauper deck over time, you'll be able to find some stuff, I think. One thing I do
Maybe.
want to just add is back in the day I went to like some Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments and stuff, and I always found
Oh
most
gosh.
of the time guys at card game tournaments and girls and all that, I shouldn't, whatever. They tend to be pretty chill, honestly. I remember one of my
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
tournaments I went to, I was like running an okay-ish kind of deck because I had some idea what I was doing, but wasn't great. And I talked with this one guy. Me and him talked through the meta. He actually gave me one of his cards, which is a Breaker the Magical Warrior, which was meta at the time. And, just cool stuff like that. I find a lot of times if you have like these shops with like a small group of people, they tend to be pretty cool, pretty chill. Not always, of course, but
Yeah, I'm sure like for them, like you said, like if they haven't had a lot of newbies, like
Yeah.
I'm sure some of them are just like, cool, easy win, but also some of them are like, wow, somebody I can teach and like bring into the fold or whatever. So
yeah,
like
exactly.
I'm sure some of them
Yeah,
probably are
maybe.
just like, oh cool, like finally somebody new that we can talk to
Some
besides the
fresh
same five
meat.
people. Yeah. Like
It's a weird thing. Yeah, because I had the thought as well. These people are at the same time like kind of elite pros, but also uh funny nerds. So yeah, you can chit chat with them casually, but also that I feel still intimidated at what the fuck they are doing on the table. It's a weird mix of things that I don't really experience much, I feel. But yeah, maybe the pauper shit is gonna work out better for me. Otherwise, I'm just gonna try to attend those limited formats where I have a better shot.
I mean, as you go through limited, you'll probably get better too, and you might get more shots.
Yeah. But again, that it just made me realize, thank fuck, there's something like Arena now where I can actually play and not just lose. Because without that, I might actually never play Magic again. If it was just paper Magic and I had nobody in my friend groups that was interested, I would probably not play Magic again ever. So thank fuck for that.
The wonder of video games.
Oh yeah. Okay. There was a lot of gaming talk, a lot of non-video game talk,
A lot of magic being gathered.
a lot of magic being gathered. So
So-
that is gonna be the conclusion to the playing section. Yeah.
Yep. So in that case, I would like to lead us into today's discussion topic. And today's discussion topic, I mentioned it at the start, but I'll bring it back around here, is primarily about the way the internet specifically, but even just in general, further information, and how it is shared has changed the landscape of gaming, how we personally interact with games, or how even in general communities interact with games. You know, this I'm gonna. There's like a few segments we want to go through: Easter eggs, cheats, metas. I have one or two other things I might have in mind. But kind of to lead into this, I kind of want to bring up what got me thinking about this topic, which is that I don't know exactly when all you grew up, but for me, I was growing up, mid 2000s. A lot of times was when I was going to like GameStops and stuff, looking at gaming magazines, and I remember when I got Pokemon Coliseum. I think there was a sale, or they were giving it away free as like a promotion or something like that. But there was a little, probably Prima, I bet, but I don't know what it would be, a little game guide, and that had a list of all the Pokemon's moves that they could learn that were in the game. And back then, that was like, whoa, I didn't know all this, because you would just
Yeah.
have to go through and look through yourself. But nowadays, I mean, granted, it probably maybe a year or so, I would discover Sirabi, and you could just look it up on that. Sirabi's still around, which I think is cool. But even then, back then, the internet wasn't as fast, and maybe you're just playing at your TV, you don't have a smartphone kind of thing. You just want to look at your magazine. But it got me thinking about me playing Gen 3 Pokemon on, like, not even Pokemon Showdown. It was like the predecessor to Pokemon Showdown that's I'm struggling to remember the name of, even right now. And, sure, you had Smogon, but there wasn't quite as much information on that kind of metagame. And, it's completely changed how people are playing something like Pokemon. And that kind of just got me on this topic. So, since I think that was quite a long read-in, I'm going to now let you two begin with wherever you want to start with.
I actually I wanna stick with Pokemon actually because I love that,
All
hearing
right.
that. I remember here in Germany when the first generation of Pokemon games were still out, there was some, I don't know, family magazine, like physical magazine in a store that had a list of all the original 151 Pokemon, and the kids wanted that shit so badly. I remember all of us in the neighborhood, we were begging our parents to buy that shit and
Get the
copy it around and
magazine.
whatever. Yeah, because there was no other way to actually see all the Pokemon at once. I think the instruction booklets for the Gen 1 Pokemon games had partial Pokédex things to look up.
Well, they might have
But
a few, yeah.
yeah, but like the whole list of all Pokemon, dude, at one point, like that was like the holy grail at that time.
And people would be freaking out over Mew being in there because you couldn't get it.
Yeah. And I also remember I actually have wondered about this since we've picked this as a topic. I was also thinking about Pokemon data. I cannot remember when the switch happened from playing Pokemon actually blind and playing Pokemon with websites that have the Pokemon stats and where you can find the Pokemon or whatever, which I have used at some point, started using at some point to like plan out a team beforehand and whatever. That has become an integral part to a lot of my Pokemon playthroughs these days. I wonder when that switch happened. I cannot actually remember.
I want to say it depends on if you're talking about like when it first started or when it became common, because those are going to be two separate answers.
I wonder more when I started finding that online. There's no way for me to remember
There's
that.
no way to find yourself.
But I have vivid memories of using this German website Pokédex.de and just looking up every Pokemon or whatever.
Pokedex.
Yeah, I think it still exists, but I haven't used it in a while. Nowadays it's Bulbapedia for me. But
Let's find out. Pokedex.de. It still works! It hasn't been updated, I think, since 2016. I can't speak German, but it exists.
oh yeah, I see it as well. Holy crap. Rest in peace, Pokédex.de right here.
Pay to win Spielchen and Missbrauch's Wooden.
What the fuck was that? I didn't even understand.
I don't know.
But yeah, Pokemon, definitely one of those game franchises that were hugely affected by the internet or whatever. Yeah.
The one thing I want to say real quick, because I'm going to go to your point about game guides and stuff. I would say the first generation of Pokemon that had like readily available guides was Generation 3. Because I remember that was with Cerebi, I remember had all that stuff up. Now, one thing is back then there wasn't data mining. So it took people actually like grabbing the stuff to put up. So it took a while to come up. But I would say Gen 3 I remember was the first time the information got up. And I'd say Gen 5 is the first one I remember where people just data mined it and had an idea of what it was like day one before it came out kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that I think was when people started really taking off on the planning and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and we can never go back again.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things. This is like a genie out of the bottle situation.
Yeah, for real. I think a lot of the things we might be talking about in this discussion are gonna be dead. We will never be not having whatever we're gonna talk about,
or at least more difficult for sure.
Yeah, maybe I'm moving ahead too quick, but with Pokemon, even that also leads into the competitive stuff. Which is one of the saddest things about gaming in general, I think. I hate how technology like the internet has pretty much changed all competitive play ever, video games and physical and whatever, just by now having the entire world looking at the same thing, the same stats and data, and just coming up with the same strategies for every single competitive game. And I think that is one of the main reasons why I do not like most competitive games nowadays. There's, of course, measures by different developers in the video game sphere trying to balance their platforms in a way that it's not just the same metas winning over and over again. I wish I remembered what game it was, but I heard about maybe Hearthstone or something where they had like genuinely like systems in play where they would isolate people using the meta, so people not playing some popular meta could actually have regular ass matches with each other, something like that.
Do you mean just different formats?
I mean,
or like more of a behind the scenes thing? Because Hearthstone has the format.
From what I remember hearing, like generally in the matchmaking inside of a singular format, it was actually picking and choosing people to play each other so that the actual meta play is gonna be isolated from the rest of the people so they don't just get, fucked by the same decks over and over again. I wish I knew where the fuck I heard or read that because I was really trying to find that again. It was actually really interesting to read. But point is, I hope competitive game developers do more stuff like that and actually give non-optimized gameplay a shot and a room and a space to breathe. because that is what makes, in my opinion, these games fun. And as soon as there is a meta established that all the actual successful pro gamers or whatever follow and spread, a game to me is just becoming boring and uninteresting. Magic is one of those cases. And that is also one thing that we will never not have again, because the internet is just a thing that exists, and it changed that completely.
Yeah, like obviously competitive metas for stuff have always existed, but when
Yeah.
the information wasn't readily available, like, like with Magic the Gathering, metas have existed as long as tournaments have
Yeah.
existed because everyone's want to win. But the meta usually wouldn't
But
trickle down to like the other things because unless you were looking for the tournaments, the information wasn't available. You know what I mean?
and something that I've just recently, because of my Magic the Gathering deep dives, have learned and whatever, early pro tours, early championships in Magic the Gathering, when it was not online and internet age and whatever, there were actual regional metas. It wasn't
Right.
the whole world was playing the same way. That is awesome, but we don't have that anymore.
Right. And one reason for that is because, like, when it comes to the regional stuff, unless you purchased, like, I think one of the Magic magazines, you couldn't find the deck list for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, unless you're traveling from New York to California, you don't know what the dude in California is playing.
Right.
So you get these kind of regional matchups. But,
Yeah, I
that's
missed that.
definitely,
Yeah.
yeah. And, like, Pokemon, I remember, like I said, Gen 3 and stuff. And, there definitely was a meta. There was a broad idea of what was good and what was not good, and you could play through it and all that. But it wasn't refined in the same way, is how I would put it.
Mhm.
There was definitely more room for trying things out, a little bit of experimentation. Obviously, it's not the only part of Pokemon that's changed over the years, so it's not just the information. But I think that you get so many people inputting so much information, nowadays, it goes much more rapid, for example.
Yeah.
And you kind of get a crystallized thing. And then one thing I always hear kind of that fits this is like, this isn't competitive meta, but I feel like it's close enough related, is I hear people talk about World of Warcraft, for example, and how World of Warcraft isn't the same. But part of that is that way back in like the first expansion or the second expansion, there wasn't information on what the bosses were doing. You just had to figure that
Yeah.
shit out. So because of that, stuff that seems like really basic and easy if you look back at nowadays, it was harder and maybe more intellectually interesting because you had to really work it out kind of like a puzzle to figure out what was even
Yeah.
happening.
Man, what an experience that must have been to live through those times. Could not
the
imagine.
It's interesting for me to listen to you guys talk about this because, like, I have stayed so far away from like competition of any sort whatsoever. So, like, I just stick with like solo stuff, and that's
Well, I have too, but because of these reasons,
yeah.
Right. I mean, I
Ah,
said this before. I'm the kind of guy who was like trying to grind a legend in Hearthstone when it was coming out. So I'm a guy who likes the competitive part. But you can
yeah.
see I played ranked League of Legends. So I'm a freak.
Fuck.
But you could just see differences from, I would say, probably around like 2011 onwards. I would say it feels like his run would start to really shift. Maybe a bit earlier.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole reason why I started playing Magic first with that delisted like single player bullshit a couple episodes ago. Never expected I would be actually in the competitive scene in any way, because it can work in certain aspects. But that's for the matters. I mean, there's still other things about video games that are definitely changed by how we spread information, etc.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned it already, like Easter eggs, for example, definitely have become, I would say, more prevalent these days, especially since snooping around video games has become more of a hobby itself, I feel, especially with like content creators out there. What are the big ones, like out of out of bounds or whatever they are called. Boundary breaking, whatever. And I'm sure, or I know some game developers, because of that stuff, started putting especially Easter eggs for those kinds of people in there, which is a different way
Well,
these secrets are getting spread around.
as a side, boundary break is what it looks like it's called.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, like I remember like having to play like the first Zelda and not knowing what to do whatsoever because there was no guides or anything back then. And
Right.
then, having to figure it out with people that you own. Like the only way to figure it out was either find some guide that was published or figure it out with your friends because they're also playing a game separate. Or like for me, it was like my cousins who had it. And like I remember my dad had like drawn out the map, just gone, screen by screen and just figured it out and just like, okay, this is here, no to what dungeon is what or whatever.
Hell yeah.
And just gone through that.
Yeah.
And that was just like, how you had to do. And then like by the time Super Nintendo came out, then there was a little bit more Electronic Gaming Monthly and Game Pro and Nintendo Magazine, stuff like that, where they were a little bit more catered to those sorts of things. And maybe they might talk about it. Maybe you'll still hear from your friends, but if it wasn't local to you, no. And now it's like when it comes to those Easter eggs in games, like even like Astrobot, which it's a game, but like all the little like Easter egg robots that they have in it, are references to other PlayStation games over the years. And like if Astrobot had come out for Super Nintendo back in the day, and you try to look for all of those robots, you may not know the reference and you'll just never learn, I guess, the parts or whatever. But nowadays, like I haven't even played Astrobot yet, and I can just look up a guide of like all the Easter eggs in the game or all the robots that are referenced in the game and like what references or whatever.
You can see them all in a video.
Yeah, and I can just like look that up and like not have to, I don't have to buy the game to like get the joke or whatever. But at the same time, like part of the excitement of like figuring it out for yourself is gone. So I mean, it's nice to not have to struggle through games when nobody has the game, nobody cares about the game. But at the same time, it's like it's so easy to just figure it out because somebody else did it 2 days before or something like that. Now,
yeah, I also
that sort of thing. Like,
oh, you go because I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was just gonna say, again with Metroid and the Justin Bailey outfit, that was like my thing back in the day, and like, learning all the different secrets to even like the GTAs that now in the new edition you can't even use half the cheats because they've either been disabled or using them will break your saves. So they tell you not to use, and I was like, no, that was the fun of like having these cheat codes back in the day. Was to mess around in the game, but that it wouldn't destroy your game also. And then there's also like the one room, what is it, in Link to the Past, I think, that Chris Houlihan or whatever room, it was just like, it's like a secret room, but it's just filled with jewels, and it just like it just says my name is Chris whatever, and it's just like it's so random, but like it's such a random Easter egg. But like nowadays you can just like look that up. Yeah, okay, I've heard of this or I've seen it or whatever, but like as you're playing it back in the day, you're just, what the hell is this? I don't understand what's going on. And it's just like one of those little like gifts that the devs give to you where you're just like, the devs put it in, nobody saw, put it in, you find it and you're like, oh, this is the little link, like a little wink from the devs to me, just because I decided to poke around a little.
Yeah. That's the Chris Houlihan room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about that when you were talking, funny enough. Because I almost feel like, because it's so much easier to find Easter eggs, especially because of data mining as well, that I feel like in a way they've become less daring with Easter eggs in that sense. There's less of things like a kind of Chris Houlihan room, as it were, which is kind of, like hidden, almost fourth wall breaking kind of room, stuff like that. Instead, it's more like you said with Astrobot, referencing something like that. I feel like it's maybe become a bit less daring because it's just so expected to find it.
Yeah. I mean, I've also seen articles where they're like, this one thing that nobody found after 5 years. Like,
Yeah,
and they're like,
right.
this was in this game and nobody knew. And it's like, oh, sorry, nobody was thinking that deeply about that.
like the one there was like a single banana thing in Donkey Kong 64 that nobody had seen in like 25 years, and it made all the
Yeah.
100% speed runs have to be redone.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I have not heard about that. That is awesome. Holy shit.
I'll link it to you later. No, it's like
Yeah.
it's like the exact same color as the ground. I think it was only discovered like
Mhm.
presumably random people had found this before who weren't speedrunners.
Uh-huh.
I think one
Yeah.
speedrunner was just like fucking around and ground pounded the area, and oops, there's a secret here. It doesn't act. I think it
That
doesn't. I think the thing is, it doesn't change the percentage. So because it
huh.
doesn't change the percentage, nobody realized that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. This also reminds me of the indie platformer Faz in the 2010s that is
Oh
all
yeah.
built around
Oh,
puzzles
Fed.
and secrets and whatever. Maybe like from what I know, there's like a big optional puzzle thing. I'm not even sure what it revealed. That players have taken years to solve, and at some point they have found how to solve, but nobody understands how you were supposed to get to that point. Something like that. Which is the funniest fucking thing to me ever. You
That
get
does
to
seem
the
very
goal,
funny.
but you don't understand what the developer meant, how you were supposed to get there. Which is a weird concept. I don't know if that's still up to date. Maybe people know nowadays what the
It's the
fuck all of that
it's
was
the
about. But
Fermi paradox of Fez, the Fezzy paradox.
the Fezzy Paradox. Great game, by the way.
Yeah,
There's also like with the whole secrets in games, ARGs surely have existed before or in the really early internet days as well. But that is also something that has definitely become more prevalent in video games where the developer puts secrets and whatever that span outside of the actual video game itself. So people have to
yeah.
snoop around in the real world or in other forms of media and whatever. I know there's like whole games these days that purposefully create these kind of scavenger hunts and want players to commune around these things, like build a community and solve these riddles together, spanning more than one piece of media. I remember there's a thing called Black Watchman on Steam that's really popular. That's doing that stuff that I've yet not dared to actually look into. And I remember playing Strawberry Cubes, which is a weird little itch.io game where you explore huge, weird 2D platformer worlds. And it's really intended for you to talk to other players and slowly like figure out what the fuck it's all about. That sort of gameplay would not exist without the internet, without this form of information sharing we have today, which is, I guess, one of the upsides of all of this.
Yeah. I mean, I would say another upside, this is a bit more about distribution, but I do think information is also a part of it, is I think that just like itch.io games in general and a lot of indie games would
Yeah,
struggle to have the reach they did without the ability for people to share that kind of information nowadays, because word of mouth can spread
true.
so much further nowadays.
We maybe wouldn't even have Faz if it wasn't for the internet and that sort of thing. We wouldn't have Super
Yeah.
Meat Boy, that's for fucking sure.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff.
I mean, even something like Hollow Knight. Like, would Hollow Knight have sold 15 million copies if it wasn't able to spread its word of mouth kind of thing the way it did?
Huh, yeah, we will never know.
It's a mystery. But, and honestly, like, going back to the Easter egg point, like, cheats are another thing we've thought about. And I definitely think one thing that's destroyed cheats is, two
Destroyed.
things I would say. Is one, the fact that it's so easy to just find them out now. And part of the fun with cheats is that it was hard to figure them out. And it was, you find something, or maybe there's some in game that's like a hidden code, and you figure it out, and you get a little cheat. And I'd say the other thing is just because of the internet and the ability to get through code and stuff, there's a lot of worry that somebody's just gonna, any kind of game with multiplayer, they just are gonna get the cheat into the multiplayer mode and then just ruin the game, basically.
Right. I still remember a time when I first found out that you could look up video game cheats online. and I thought that was illegal as a kid, and I hid it from my parents, and I was terrified of them ever coming into my room when I looked up, I don't know, cheat codes for GTA or whatever. It was so
I do
stupid.
remember. I do remember hearing about Game Genie and
Oh.
thinking that was illegal. Like, to me, it seemed like the black
Yeah.
market for games, and I was just like, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Game Genie and
Because it
Action
can-
Replay. I remember that.
Yeah, I
for
was like,
sure.
so like Game Shark and Game Genie to
That can't be allowed. It's
hack your
But-
games
necessary.
like that.
You said dramatically cheats got destroyed or whatever. But like I feel like they just changed shape. Nowadays you don't have cheat codes to find and type in. Nowadays the developer just puts in unlockable modes or like whatever to get you.
I mean, kind of, but like, I'm going to use a minor example here of what I would say is like
Yeah.
a cheat code or whatever. Like any kind of code you would input at a title screen to make a lot of lives in a game with lives. You don't see that anymore. I feel like a lot of the
No.
things that are modes aren't really necessarily even cheats nowadays. If anything, I feel like the modern
Yeah.
analog to cheats is mods.
Right.
Yeah, I miss Big Head mode. I miss God mode. Bring those back.
Those
Yeah.
cheats, yeah, I miss as well. But
I still remember Big Head mode in Madden.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of things that we used to call cheats are now accessibility mods, accessibility options. And even when we're talking about game mods, a lot of those things are acknowledged by developers these days that they put that stuff in themselves. So in that sense, I don't miss the old style cheat codes. I think we're in a much better place nowadays with that sort of stuff.
I mean, I think it depends.
Yeah.
There's certainly times that I open games and I just go, I think this would be in like the PS3 era of games. I would say like I would like look up things to be like, oh, let me see if there's like any cheats for this. And they would be like, unlock this, unlock that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then it's like, how do I unlock this? They're like, beat that level. And I'm like, that's not a cheat. That's just
Yeah.
a bonus for having completed whatever. So like around that time, it was a little rough because it was just like we didn't have cheats, we didn't have like mods, or just kind of like, okay, I guess. But even today, sometimes I'm just kind of like, why can't we just have cheats again? Like, give me something to make everything gray, everything blue, just quirky shit like that, like, without having to mod it. Like,
I mean,
because there's a GTA cheat where you could just like make all the cars black, make all the cars pink, like. Only gangs
Oh, I
in the
didn't know
streets,
about
only
that.
police. I was like, this is great. You just sit there and be
Right.
like, playbox everything. So, I mean, that's also a thing. Maybe like those things that I enjoyed are kind of just like you can just do that in any sandbox game now. So it's like now you can just have your own playground, make another game into a playground or whatever. So
I kind of
Yeah,
wish I
yeah.
could remember what the specific ones were. But, like, for example, Beetle Adventure Racing had more unlockables than true cheats, I would say, but they called it a cheat menu, and they had like 40 of them. I mean, maybe more like 20 now that I think about it, I guess. It's been a long time. And I remember they had some silly stuff in there. Some of it was just options, but some of it was interesting kind of thing. And, something like that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like, oh, you know what's something that's also not cheap but feels adjacent enough, also was on the topic, I think is relevant, is I think people wonder like let's say Super Metroid. A lot of the Super Metroid stuff you can glitch through things to do your skips and all that. And people are wondering like why that's not in games more. I definitely think one reason for that is that back then you would just kind of find it out from someone you knew, or you had to go to kind of a secret forum. Nowadays, if there's a skip to skip large parts of it, is going to be found out in like 5, not very long
Yeah.
unless it's really hidden, and everybody can kind of get to it. And I think devs don't like that as much.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they don't. Yeah. Although even that, like, I love that since speedrunning. So beyond that, speedrunning is such a known and popular thing nowadays. Also, of course, popularized through the internet. I love that a lot of game developers now keep that in mind as they create their games and a lot of them like build their levels, their environments to accommodate an interesting speedrun and whatever. And I love, one of my favorite things to watch is seeing game developers react to speedruns of their games, and they are just like, oh yeah, we thought that would happen, or oh, we never thought that would
We
happen.
knew
And
you
it's
were
just
coming here.
that conversation would have never existed
Yes.
before the
Yeah,
internet and whatnot.
yeah.
And I
That I
love that
definitely agree
shit.
with. I mean,
I do
Yeah.
appreciate the connection that like the creator versus the fan has these days, where like they
Yeah.
appreciate the love and they're excited, you know, all their work being, you know, mined to this extent. You know, I feel like speed running to me feels like, I don't know how to describe it, but like it feels like the Spotify of the gaming industry in a way, because it's
Oh my
like,
god.
because it's like the way Spotify changed everything from like being about albums to just being about like a track and being about like whatever.
Oh.
yeah, I can
And
see
it's
that.
like people aren't appreciating the album or game, and you're just sort of enjoying the tracks in your own way. And I guess that's kind
I
of a
don't
little bit
know.
more like the mixtape community, where it's just like, oh, they're just gonna like take bits and pieces and like Frankenstein it together or whatever, and like speedrunning this game instead of appreciating it for like the album that it is. But like that's also another way of appreciating a game, being like, I'm gonna try and break this game, I'm trying to get through this game, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm sure some devs are like, we spent 20 months on this and they're just beating it in 15 seconds. Like, that's not. But at the same time, it's like, hey, that's going to make it to the news. It's going to promote your game somewhere. Be like, wow, that game in 15 seconds. Okay, I want to play. So I don't know.
I mean,
It still
speedrunners
push.
presumably do a regular playthrough first and play it as everybody else would, and then afterwards the
Yeah.
intensive studying shows up,
Yeah.
and that is more to me like studying a piece of art after you have appreciated it.
I agree, because I think that's one thing some people are critical of speedrunning, don't always seem to get. I don't think anybody speedruns a game, one, that they don't like in some way.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
why are you going to well, you know, unless you're like
I
already an
have-
established speedrunner and you're just like fucking around, obviously.
Yeah.
Speedrunning
But-
I
Ratatouille
have
on
seen
PS2.
some, I guess, people not in the speedrunning community. I mean, I'm not in the speed, but I have seen some people trash games because they see how quick it is to be able to beat as a speedrunning thing, and people are just like, oh, that game isn't as serious because it's like it comes back to like the whole like Souls-like thing where it's just like, oh, this game is easy to beat, so like, yeah, it's easy to beat in speedrunning sense, but it's not like a hard
so
game.
Weird.
Yeah, so like I have seen a lot of people just being like, oh no, they beat it so quickly, like clearly that's not a thing. But it's like, well,
playtime is so small.
yeah.
It's so fucking dumb.
But again, that's another thing that, you know, you wouldn't hear that from the internet if, I mean, you wouldn't have heard of that before the internet.
I mean,
so, you
Definitely.
honestly, even getting into that, like the information, I don't think speedrunning would even exist in the way it does without that kind of information. When you look at, because speedrunning existed before the internet, but you look at, like, I watched somebody insult videos, and like you see how information was traded, like in early Punch Out, in early Mario Kart, when people were just kind of sending emails or even just kind of spreading it by word of mouth. It doesn't really advance nearly as fast. Whereas nowadays, a lot of people can all feed off of each other in a way that they really couldn't before. And I think that's one reason speedrunning seems like it's exploded in the last, let's say, decade or so into what it is now. I think it's that ability to share information and to see a lot of the cool tricks for people in a way that just seeing a record on a, you know, a website wouldn't do the same way with YouTube and streaming and all that. And one thing I did want to say, relevant to the speedrunning point, and also the point about developers and players kind of talking in that way with like the glitches and stuff, is like while Metroid Dread doesn't have that glitch factor to kind of get through the game in certain ways, it did have a lot of intentional and oftentimes difficult skips that sometimes had some unintentional stuff added on, and you could tell that the devs were trying to get that feeling of the unintentional exploration or the skipping in ways that you shouldn't be, even though you really, in this case, are meant to be able to do it without like just letting it go off the rails.
Yeah, I love developers like taking that stuff in that was not intended and actually using it for their development later on. That's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
I guess another thing that wouldn't exist without the internet in terms of video games are all those games kept alive by memes, like the Bubsy,
True,
of
actually.
course. We would not have more than 3 Bubsy games if it wasn't for the internet.
We would never have gotten
And now-
Bubsy 4D.
Dude, Bubsy 4D next year is gonna fucking slap, dog. And I'm so happy
I am
about
interested in Bubsy 4D.
that. It's gonna be so good. You have no
Did
idea.
you see the mode where you only have 9 lives?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they have a challenge mode, which is 9 lives mode. You have 9 lives for the whole game.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
What a world where we get Bubsy 4D and it looks like it's gonna be doing good, and the Virtual Boy is re-released.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I guess that wouldn't have happened without the internet either, right?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like the only reason they're doing Virtual Boy has to be people joking about it and saying the secondary market price and stuff.
Angry Video Game Nerd has done more for Nintendo than he realizes.
It's so funny because when I was looking up, it had just happened, but I went to look up the Virtual Boy news to see like pricing or whatever. And the only thing I could find, because it was so new at the time, was their April Fool's thing about Virtual Boy.
Oh,
yeah.
Like last year or something. And I was like, that's great. That's not the announcement I need right now. I was like, yeah, clearly they threw that out and were just like, oh, people actually care? Okay, hold on. We will work on
They're
this.
like, oh fuck, people actually buy it? I gotta say,
Fuck yes.
this is very slightly off topic, but I have to talk about this with the Virtual Boy. I think it's wild. They recreated the form factor, and you just slide the
1-to-1.
into it.
Yeah.
They didn't improve it. They didn't change it. It's the same shit. It's so fucking good.
If you wanted the authentic Virtual Boy experience, motherfucker, you're getting it. You might not hope you might wish you didn't, but you are.
Yeah. It is legit the best thing Nintendo has done in years. I'm saying that as a Nintendo
funny.
dislike.
It's so fucking funny.
You know what else you wouldn't have without the internet in terms of video games? Can you pet the dog? Every indie game has to have a pettable dog.
All that kind of stuff.
That has that. I think that's the biggest influence the internet ever had on a video game.
You gotta be able to pet the dog.
You gotta. You're developers. You do not have a choice. You have to have a pettable dog, or you're gonna get shot.
Just like Lord Yeller.
That is one thing.
It's such a weird phenomenon. Yeah, sorry.
No, the Red Dead has that in the game. You can pet. There's like various dogs in the towns. You can just go up to it, tap tap, and walk away. Out of all things, like the rest of the game, you're hunting and shooting animals, skinning deers and stuff, and it's like the dog though, you get to pet him.
Yeah, that's what the people want.
Man's best friend.
The interesting thing is
that's what marketing tells us.
I don't think you can pet the cats in Elder Scrolls, which is funny because there's an entire race of people that are cats. So it's very strange.
Petting too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we could retire the "can you pet a dog" thing, what else would we want the internet to spread and force developers to do?
Can you pet a cat?
Fuck off!
I need more birds.
Can you kiss a bug?
Can you feed the bird? Okay, can you feed the bird would be a good one. You gotta be able to feed the pigeon if there's a pigeon.
Yeah, that would be a cool.
We gotta get on the meme machine to make this happen.
That was definitely one of my favorite parts of, not one of my favorite parts, but that was like a very like amazing bonus of Breath of the Wild when I threw an apple down and the horse and ate it. Like, I can feed the horse. That's great.
Oh shit!
And then the dog ate one, and I was like, I can feed the dog. This is great. And like you always have like 50,000 apples on you, so I was like, I can feed The animal is great. Like,
Oh my god.
awesome
Um,
mechanic.
I agree. It is a good mechanic. But there's one thing I had a thought of with all of this that's maybe like not as direct as some other ones, and it's something I've thought of for things that aren't just video games too. I'm gonna say I think this is one of the things that information has impacted pretty much every form of media. Like it was already getting impacted before, but especially the internet. And I feel like it's one reason we hear people say so much about things being stale or less original. And I think that one reason for that is that like
Yeah.
you look throughout history at a lot of time periods, and you'll see something that was really considered original back then. And it turns out that, maybe that person was reading something that they didn't know existed before, like, say, Renaissance rediscovering Greek information or whatever. So it's original, but at the same time, it definitely was being built off stuff that was known but then forgotten, kind of thing. But with the internet, it's such a large store of information essentially permanently that there's not like a cultural forgetting in the same way. And I think that's
True.
one reason why things sometimes get that reputation because now, you know, any music from the past ever, past 70, 80 years, you can still just find and listen to. It's not like it
Yeah.
just faded after that generation ended and now people are basically making new music having never heard the old stuff but sounding similar. Now instead, it's still there and it's going to still be compared to. I think video games
True.
are the same way where there's so much information about like every game that ever existed. Look at how much random stuff we bring out on this podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Nobody would remember Wakeboarding Unleashed unless I would mention it, yeah.
exactly, who's thinking about
Yeah.
Wakeboarding Unleashed
Who the
featuring Sean
fuck?
Murray?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But now, like, if a new wakeboarding game comes out and you try it, you're gonna have that in your head as a comparison point
True.
because you're
Yeah.
able to find it.
True.
And I just think that's something where there's not a cultural forgetting, as it were, or a long-term forgetting or information being lost in the same way. I think it makes it stark the reality that's kind of always actually been, which is that people are always building on previous things. And it
Yeah.
always has been building on previous things. And I think that's, you get the point I'm making. I don't need to keep going on.
Yeah, it's definitely true. It's dead. And additionally, the since we live in a global world, developers, producers try to make the thing appeal to the entire world.
That's
It's
true.
these two things
Mm.
that are gonna make games feel stale to people and
I agree with
samey.
that. In fact,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
say that's one of the issues. Like people talk about the Japanese gaming market when the HD generation came in and they were struggling. I definitely think one thing that hurt them there was they were trying way too hard to just kind of have it be an everything game or appeal to other stuff, and end up
Mm,
making stuff that felt just like more similar. And I think one
yeah.
reason that kind of then went through a renaissance is they're like, well, fuck it, let's just make what we like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was an article recently that I was reading that the original Animal Crossing, they thought it was too Japanese and that it wouldn't be a hit outside of Japan. And they were like, we have to find a way to make it accessible to the rest of the world. And then like I guess they hit a point where they were just like just release it and we'll see how it does.
Well,
I've only played the
excellent
last
decision.
two-ish, and it's definitely very Japanese in certain points where I'm like, I don't understand this. This must be something, from their culture or whatever. And but like it's more enjoyable than I guess they gave themselves credit for to
Yeah,
play. Very popular.
I played the first Animal Crossing game. In fact, it's the only Animal Crossing I've played is the GameCube one. Funny enough,
Hmm.
and it's Japanese in the sense it feels like a slice of life anime kind of thing. But I don't even think I was thinking about it as feeling foreign when I played it, outside of maybe the character
Yeah.
designs looking kind of chibi.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Was it a success when it first came out?
It was a success for the GameCube.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
I remember there was a lot of controversy with it too, like because they had like the day mechanic where like it just goes in time. So there was like a whole like I guess it had to do with a battery inside. But there was a segment of the market that thought it was like had to do with like real life or slash demons in the cartridge that were gonna
Huh?
like take care of. I don't.
the
It was
classic demons in the cartridge.
yeah.
Fuck off.
It was definitely one of those things where they were just like, how does it know that what your time is? Like I don't understand. Like something is killing this cartridge.
What?
It can only be the blackest of magic.
And I remember there was like a few news stories about it that
What
were
the
just like, what's
hell?
going on? And it was like that and Harry Potter was just like demons everywhere, witches. Like, it's
Of
like what?
course.
So when I got around to it finally, I was like, this is what was creating.
I hate when demons are in my game cartridges. It's always a pain in the
I
ass.
I mean, real.
love when demons are in my game cartridge. Speaking of demons in game cartridges,
I want to say one thing on the Animal Crossing point before we get too far back.
fair enough.
One
Ruin
thing
my
I remember with
segue.
Animal Crossing for the articles and stuff like this is I remember reading this wild article talking about Animal Crossing as gamifying work life and like
Oh boy.
working
Yeah.
that
Well.
kind of thing and how it's reflecting our modern society. And I feel
Yeah.
like that combined with the demon one is like a funny combo.
Yeah.
Also, what I'd say about the success, Matt, is that the first Animal Crossing only sold 2.71 million, but the GameCube only had 21.7 million consoles.
Oh, okay, I see.
So like it was very successful for the GameCube. It just wasn't necessarily a big success otherwise. And then the second one was 11.7 million.
Damn. I don't get it. I don't want to pay rent in my video game.
Yeah, that was I paid that off so quickly and then was just like, now the rest of the game.
Very responsible of you.
Don't you wish in
Yeah.
real life you could just pay rent once and then you just left?
God, what a
Yeah.
sad fantasy to play out. Oh my god. Where's the video game where I can shoot my landlord, dog? I need that shit in my life.
Grand Theft Building coming soon.
Probably one of the Turnip Boy games.
Honestly true. Yeah, maybe Turnip Boy. Oh my god, I love video games.
I mean, you could probably do it in GTA too.
There's no landlords.
There you go. Yeah, that was
You can buy property, but you can't shoot
Darn,
landlords.
there's no handlers.
That's
So
another
close.
fantasy. My god. What I was trying to segue earlier with demons in the cartridges. Another thing that I was thinking about when we were preparing for this topic, the whole, I don't know how deep you're into this stuff, but the whole like concept of creepypastas, like stories shared on the internet about haunted video games and some dumb shit, and the whole actual slew of video games that spawned out of that. Which I would say those are responsible still for the hits like Five Nights and Freddy's and whatever, and that sort of all these mascot horror games. Like that is a huge wave, 100% started by internet fan fiction sharing, I guess.
I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's definitely is a game where if it wasn't able to share a bunch of information and theories on the internet, it would have died after like a game or two.
Yeah, definitely we would not have that.
I don't even mean that in terms of the quality. Just it so clearly became like an internet ARG theory craft kind of game.
True, yeah. So that's another blessing of the internet if you're into that shit.
Yeah, I mean, also what are the creepypastas that were related to like paranormal phenomena? What are those called?
Yeah.
Phenomena.
What are they called? They're creepypastas. There's a Godzilla one. There is a Sonic one.
How could you not mention Ben Drowned?
Oh, Ben Drowned, yeah. And Herobrine, which I think was mentioned in the movie, the Minecraft movie.
I still remember.
Which is wild.
I still remember when Man, God, I'm gonna sound like the oldest fuck around. I remember when Herobrine was like first happening.
Oh my god. I remember
Herobrine. Because I had Minecraft before it came out. I got it for free.
Yeah. Dude, in a couple years in our retirement homes, we're gonna be talking to each other. I swear I saw you, O'Brien. Nobody believes me.
But now I'm just imagining that being some like sad movie where like the grandmother has dementia. It's like a horror movie. Hero Bride is talking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can see that now.
God, Minecraft's almost old enough to vote.
Oh my god, please
Wow.
don't. Shit.
Oh, SCP. That's what I was trying to find out.
Oh, the SCP
Oh!
things, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Yeah.
basically tied into what Control and the
Right.
Alan Wake stuff became. So,
Oh.
like,
Yeah, because
So,
didn't Control like start as like an SCP game or something?
Oh, really?
it was like inspired by them, yeah. So that's essentially
okay.
like they went into that whole thing because of that sort of, and that I think that Control has like the best lore out of all the games because like every other game feeds into that. So like every little item that you can find about like what was going on in different projects or like different experiences that happened, where like you'll see the people's names and you're like, oh, that's from that other game. Oh, that other game. Oh, I didn't realize. And like the hardest DLC of boss of Control is from Alan Wake. So it's like, but like it also ties into that creepy things happen, and this is the group that's going to like erase it from public's memory or whatever.
Yeah, Modern Men in Black.
Yeah.
It is kind of SCP, right? Is a fictional database of spooky elements, spooky objects, right? Made by a community, just thrown together over years.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to put it. Yeah.
I feel like I see a new SCP game like every month, which is impressive to me. Like that spread so far.
Yeah.
That people are actively creating more over decades. I think at this point, it is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I remember like just hearing about like even just normal creepypastas were like Slender Man, which is like, oh yeah, I've heard of that thing, whatever. And now it's like, oh yeah, obviously you know the lore. What do you mean? This guy just came out of nowhere. And it's like, yeah, it's the same thing with SCPs where it's like, oh yeah, this has been going on for so long.
Have y'all played Slender when it came out? The original game?
No.
I've been wanting to play a lot of those backroom games, but I think I'm too much of a wuss for.
When everybody played it, and every content creator played it, and it was considered the scariest fucking shit ever. But if you go back to it now, you will just recognize it as one of a million basic itch.io walking simulators. It's so wild what we thought back in the day was worth talking about.
Well, not that. To an extent, you could say Slender was kind of just like a progenitor. Because I'm going to bet a lot of those were inspired by Slender.
I mean,
or by a game.
That's 100% true.
It's the classic Seinfeld is unfunny kind of thing.
This is completely off topic, but I am looking at the SCP wiki page, and there's like, see also, Backrooms, Lovecraftian Horror, Men in Black, X-Files, Odd Squad, an educational children's series with a similar premise. I'm sorry, there's an SCP children's show.
Excuse me? What the fuck did you just say?
Odd Squad. I've never heard of this. There was apparently 3 seasons.
Hey, I guess it worked then.
Speak about corrupting the youth. Oh my god, it's even airing on a German local children's TV station. That's awesome.
But yeah, so anyway, SCP has expanded beyond the internet.
Definitely.
Yeah, clearly. It's real now.
I mean, heck, like, one thing with information is I find myself that, like, as I've said, I've downloaded a lot of older random SNES and NES games. And, like, I follow some YouTube channels. They basically all they have is a video that's like a 5 or 10 second snippet of every game that was ever released on a console.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you can kind of look at it and be like, maybe I want to grab this kind of thing. And I feel like the retro gaming sphere around the 2010s, I feel like when the Wii and the Xbox came out, was very much the like old classics. You know what I mean? Less of the niche interest. Super
Right, yeah.
Mario Bros, all that kind of stuff. And I
Yeah.
feel like when the internet began being bigger, plus of course less, discussion had been mined. There's only so much you can talk about Super Mario Bros. 1 before everything's been said about Super Mario Bros. 1. I feel like that's another thing. There's been a lot more information spread about these old games or games or especially Japanese only games for America where
Mhm.
nobody would have ever heard of them before. Now they have like a translation project that I think is really
Oh
neat
yeah,
and
yeah,
good
yeah.
for the gaming sphere. Like, this is one that's really famous. Is like Moon, the remix RPG inspiring Undertale, for example.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, I didn't even think about this. Yeah, we all these ROM translations and ROM hack games and whatever. All of that wouldn't exist without this spread of information.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
it'd be like super niche because I think there were a few way back in the day that were like
Oh,
spread around by disc.
homebrew stuff.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
nothing like nowadays. Like I played Bulk Slash, I think a year or two ago. I think it was before the podcast, so I don't think I talked about it. That's a Japanese only game where they got like full they gave it full voice acting because the way the game works, there's somebody telling you where stuff is attacking you because you can't see everything
Hmm.
on screen at once, and you couldn't really easily play the game without that. And like a project like that would be way off the table for sure.
Yeah. Man, also this is making me, I mean, not that it's new information, but it is really the reason why our backlogs are that long. Well, Leah is an exception, but
Yeah,
our backlogs are that long is because we have all this
Unemployment.
information. We have every
definitely.
fucking video game there
Pretty
and
much.
know about them. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Man, what a curse the internet is.
what a curse the internet is, I suppose. Truly the greatest blessing and the greatest curse.
Yeah. Actually real.
It kind of is. It kind of is. I mean, this is such a topic with so many things you can talk about. It feels like because it feels like it's changed so much. And this is definitely a topic we got a lot to say on. So that's nice.
Yep. We might want to wrap this up though. Maybe it
Yeah.
is time for us to play a little game and then leave.
Would you say that's time to guess the game?
I would indeed say it is time to guess a game.
Welcome to Guess the Game, where the aim of the game is to guess the game. You've already heard these rules
Yeah.
50 times, but there's always somebody's first episode, so we're going to go over them again. The goal is pretty simple. Our host of the day, which in this case is going to be Leah, will give us a game to guess. They will go through in order a main story comment and time that the game was completed in, a main plus comment, and a 100% completionist comment. And the earlier we guess it, the more points we get. Now, because of the fact that we have such varied taste, and there's probably like 12 games that we've all played, kind of thing, if a game is not on the person's list and they guess it correctly, it is a bonus point. Currently, because of Leah's last week, she has taken the lead with 7 points, while everybody else has 5. And you can tell Diallo did good early and guessed the game because of the fact he is still in the thick of it despite missing like 4 episodes. So
Yeah,
you know we're screwed when he comes back.
yeah.
But Leah, how about you and your 7 points lead off, and we'll see if we can guess it first and take the lead.
Oh, I'm nervous.
Sure.
Yeah, put the pressure on you, Matt. To my advantage. I got ice in my veins. Roll the music, future editing, Matt.
The first comment is by K Slank with a completion time of 1 hour, 12 minutes. And the comment is no bonus stage.
No bonus stage.
Oh,
Oh,
good
real
lord,
quick. Is this
dog.
a game we've both be in? Or is it just one of us?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
a game we both be in, alright.
Okay. No bonus stage.
Fuck, man, there's no bonus stage? How could they not get the bonus stage?
It's crazy. What the
No
hell kind of game
bonus.
has a bonus stage?
Yeah, there's gonna be a bonus stage. It's gonna be a short game.
Yeah, what was the length?
An hour and 12 minutes.
Oh, 12 minutes. I'm gonna just say Ridge Racer. Maybe the bonus stage is like the reverse track or whatever.
Oh, true. That could make sense. Give me just a second to think about this, because I'm thinking about what I've played that even has a bonus stage.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's gotta be something that's gonna be complete in around an hour. It's a main story game. So, not a main story game, but like this is the main story, what I'm trying to say. My mind keeps going to something that I know it's not because it doesn't have a bonus stage in it, and yet nonetheless my mind keeps thinking about it.
Oh, you can still say it, that's fine.
Oh yeah, I can make a wrong decision, I'm aware.
yeah, I support that.
No bonus
With your wrongs and your rights.
No, that didn't have a bonus stage. It's gotta be a minute 12.
I wish Tetris had a bonus stage.
Yeah, why doesn't Tetris have a bonus stage? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, with more blocks.
That was more blocks.
I'm glad we found a way to get Tetris in this episode. It was missing.
You know what they say, life is ephemeral, Tetris is eternal.
Oh wow. I'm gonna tattoo that on my forehead.
I'm just gonna say the one that oh, wait a minute, is that a bonus stage? No, that's too long of a game anyway. What am I thinking?
Yeah, what the hell are you thinking?
I'm just gonna go with the one that I feel confident is wrong, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. Star Fox 64.
Oh, buddy. Oh, pal.
Oh, you haven't beaten it?
I have not played that.
It's not like something maybe you had.
Not yet.
Nobody got it this round.
Oh shit, wait, could have been? No, that's...
Shit.
Alright, the next comment is by B. Pash. With a time of 1 hour, 12 minutes. 5 out of 7 gems.
Oh, Sonic!
5 of 7.
Sonic 2.
I can tell you that is wrong. But what am I gonna guess? 5 of 7 gems.
I mean, that has gems, so that makes sense. I mean, I could still change my decision.
No, that's locked in, dog. No way. That is locked in, my guy.
I tried.
Now, I have played Sonic 1. I do not remember if that had gems as well, or whatever. 5 out of 7? I don't feel like that matches. Also, an hour. I guess that person might be good at the game. Yeah, I did not beat that shit in an hour. So I'm kinda, I don't think so. What the fuck else has gems, though? 5 out of 7 gems.
I feel like I'm so close.
I'm starting to think it might be some weird fucking itch game or whatever.
Maybe.
And I'm scared of that because I couldn't
remember. Well, it has to be something I've been too, though.
Right, yeah, like maybe an itch miss game or whatever. We get some overlap there.
Because I haven't been nearly as many itch games as you have.
Right.
I don't know why I said everything twice there.
It cannot be Sonic. I refuse to believe it's Sonic.
He refuses to believe it's Sonic. It's just not possible.
It is impossible. I don't even know if I locked that as beaten, but I'm gonna say Crash Bandicoot.
An hour 12 minutes for Crash Bandicoot?
Doesn't make much sense either, huh?
Yeah, that's
it, I'm locking it in.
Games. All right.
Yeah, I don't have a better guess right now.
All right, so what are the guesses finally?
Mine was Sonic 2, which apparently Matt
said Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. Okay. Nobody's got it that round.
All right, what's the last chance, guys? We gotta lock in.
All right, this
one
will probably. This completion note is 100% by I Never Win. 1 hour,
Okay.
59 minutes. It's a replay for them. And the comment is, there are only 6 emeralds.
It's Sonic 1!
What the?
Sonic 1!
Fuck off!
Are
There's
you
no-
kidding me?
What?
You kidding me? Because Sonic 1 I knew had 6 emeralds and Sonic 2 has 7, so I guess Sonic 2 it's Sonic 1! I'm
That's
locking it in.
crazy, dog. That's crazy. I did actively choose against Sonic 1. I guess I have to do a guess.
You have to do
to
a guess,
actually
but I've got
officially-
this one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fucking say Super Mario Brothers.
That was a good trick, but it was dirty.
It was a good trick.
I got you baited so hard.
Oh,
Yeah, Roy is correct. It's Sonic.
yeah.
Woo, I got a point.
Oh, that hurts, man.
When you were
Oh
saying
my
Sonic
God.
1, I was hoping you wouldn't guess it, because I started wondering if the dude just fucked up the emerald count.
Well, that's why, because like literally all of the completion notes were like Chaos Emeralds, 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 and I was like, "Fuck, you're giving it away." And when I saw a 5 out of 7, I was like, "That's perfect."
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 out of 7 moment.
Oh my god, why didn't I just say Sonic?
Yeah, I don't know why you left in Crash Bandicoot, honestly.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm up to 6. I break the tie
How?
at least.
Why did they beat it in an hour, man? I'm gonna look
That's
up how
around how
long
long
it
it
took for
takes to beat
Sonic.
Sonic 1.
No, not for me.
I don't think I've ever beaten Sonic 1, and that was like
Okay, I guess
Genesis
Sonic
I had,
1's average
so-
time is 2 hours, actually.
Exactly.
2 hours,
Or for
18 minutes
100%.
for Sonic 1.
Yeah. And I don't even have a time locked. Oh, that's a bummer.
My time is 3 hours, 36 minutes, but I do think I restarted the game at one point.
Damn. Yeah,
No,
I
I didn't
used save
restart. I
states.
just
I know
took a long
that.
time on it. I did.
God,
I
that.
used save states as like a save between levels, but I didn't use them in the level. Is what I did.
I'm gonna have to cut all of this out because it's way too embarrassing for me.
There was no guess the game.
No game this week.
yeah. Technical difficulties.
Oh man.
Fuck me. But enjoy your 1 point. God damn.
Yo, I got 1 point, motherfucker. Let's go.
All right, I guess that is it, huh? Would you like to close it off, Roy?
Yep. All right, episode's over. Later, guys. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Put your comments wherever you want. See ya.
I mean, with how the internet proliferates information, they'll get everywhere. Comments can go anywhere
Yeah.
now. It's free.
It's free. God damn.